It's hard to believe, but we're already almost 3/4 of the way through the Cape Cod Baseball League season. It's time for game number 30, which brings us back to Gulf Field for the first time since the All-Star break. Tonight, it's a West Division battle. The Cotuit Kettleers are in town to take on the Falmouth Commodores. Here to open the door alongside Ben Haller and Andrew Delapiana, I'm Ryan Martin. Ben, let's start with you, where we go back last night, a win at Harwich, a 5-2 win that had just about everything for the Commodores.
Yeah, I think we talked about maybe the most complete game Falmouth has played, at least in some time, coming off that little skid. A big reason for that Easton Barrett to set the tone early. It helps to pitch when you got to lead 2-3 runs of that second inning. And then how about the cherry on top? Might have put Harwich out of it, at least mentally-wise. Solo shots and back-to-back innings from Bear Harrison to Ryan Zuckerman.
That was big, Ben. And you mentioned Easton Barrett. The second time he's faced that Harwich Mariners lineup in less than 2 weeks. He was a stud at White House Field, and there was also a couple studs at the bottom third of the lineup. 7, 8, and 9 really hit for Falmouth, including Ryan Zuckerman and Bear Harrison.
Yeah, not your traditional 7, 8 guys that go 5 for 8, 5 RBIs, 2 home runs. Bear Harrison's first home run since June 17th against Orleans. He really needed that one. And look, those guys are not your traditional 7, 8 guys. Traditionally at their school, they're in the 4 or 5 spot that drive and runs, but you can have that much power from the back of your order. This team can only get better offensively.
It's a luxury that the Commodores have with first-year field manager Jared Saltzamakia, and they'll use that tonight in a West Division battle against the Cotuit Kettleers. It's a Cotuit Kettleers team that's struggled as of recently, Ben.
Yeah, 4 straight for Cotuit. I think it's just one of the solid examples. If you look at their lineup, top to bottom, night in, night out, there's not a lot of consistency. There's not a lot of guys where you say, hey, this guy has to hit 3rd or 4th in the lineup night in, night out. It's a lot of platoon lineups. Caden Bogenpole's been all right, but other than that, it's an offense that hasn't done much this year.
That 4-game losing streak for the Kettleers, the worst on Cape Cod at the moment, and that's a lineup that will have to go against Holy Cross right-hander Jaden Waiwoda and the Falmouth Commodores tonight. It's a West Division class. Cotuit versus Falmouth. First pitch coming up from Gulf Field here at 6 p.m.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Antonio Morales from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters.
Thanks, Ben. You're right. I'm now joined by Commodores infielder and Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket Ryan Zuckerman after his big day yesterday at Harwich. Ryan, we'll start with that big day you had against the Mariners. 2 hits, including the home run. What was working for you at the plate on the road?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, just getting into pitches that I want to hit and, swinging it early. I feel like it's a strong suit of mine, attacking strikes early in counts and, doing damage like I did.
You were certainly doing damage. So was Bear Harrison right behind you, batting 7th and 8th in the order. How fun is it to have that stack right there in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, it's special. I mean, you're up here with the best players in the country, and just to, have that, fact that the kid hitting behind you he had 3 hits yesterday, homer, anyone in the lineup can do anything on any day.
Yeah, whether it's Falmouth or any of these other 10 Cape League teams, it feels like the lineups are so loaded compared to colleges. How is it adjusting to new spots in the lineup and finding a spot, again, because 1 through 9 could be 2 through 3 anywhere on any college team?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you just have to maintain that thought that, the first inning's the only inning where it really matters if you're hitting 1, 2, 3, Other than that, it's just going to flow through the game.
Flows really well. It's been flowing for you so far. We got 11 regular season games left in the Cape League season. Before you get to Atlanta with Georgia Tech, what are some of the goals that you have for you personally here on Cape Cod with the remaining games?
Yeah, I mean, I think just playing good baseball, not only as myself, but as a team. We all have goals, and, Salty's leading us, and he wants good things, and he wants us to, make a championship run. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're trying to do. You're also doing it alongside another Georgia Tech guy in Ken Schmidt. How fun is it to be able to get to know him so far on Cape Cod before you even get to Georgia Tech?
Yeah, Schmitty or the Glizzy Gladiator. He's a special guy. Very welcoming. Kind of showing me the ways, and give me a little sneak peek to what Coach Ramsey's gonna be able to do.
You have Schmidt here, and then you've seen some other Georgia Tech guys around the Cape. Have you met any new guys before you even get to Georgia Tech by playing against other teams?
Yeah, Drew Rogers, Carson Curse was up here, but he had to go home. There's a few guys on YD, so yeah, it's nice to just put faces to names.
The Yellow Jackets could be scary in the spring of 2026, including Ryan Zeckerman and Ken Schmidt here in Falmouth. That's Commodores infielder Ryan Zeckerman. Ben, back to you.
Thanks so much, Ryan. First pitch coming up in just about 14 minutes for another rivalry matchup between the Falmouth Commodores and Cotuit Kettleers here from Gov Fuller Field. Pre-game festivities coming up with our very own public address announcer, William Rosen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Arnie Allen Diamond at Gov Fuller Field for tonight's Cape Cod Baseball League matchup featuring the visiting Cotuit Kettleers and your Falmouth Commodores. Fans, tonight's community group is Love Live Local. Love Live Local is a nonprofit dedicated to strengthening Cape Cod's local economy by promoting the power of supporting small businesses and building a thriving economic community. Through education and direct support, they're supporting local businesses and inspiring residents and visitors alike to invest in what makes Cape so unique. And don't miss their first Love Local Fest of the season, happening this Sunday, July 27th in Hyannis from 11 to 5, with over 85 local makers, artists, and brands, plus live music and local bands playing all day long. It's the ultimate way to shop, support, and celebrate Cape Cod. And now it's time to meet tonight's starting lineups. First for the visiting Cotuit Kettleers. The manager of Cotuit is Lorne Hibbs. Leading off the third baseman from Oklahoma, number 12, Camden Johnson. Batting second, the left fielder from UCLA, number 36, Dean West. Batting third, the second baseman from Auburn, number 33, Ryan Farber. Batting fourth, the center fielder from Missouri State, number 19, Caden Bogenpole. Batting fifth, the designated hitter from Cincinnati, number 9, Jack Natilli. Batting sixth, the right fielder from Mississippi State, number 16, Nolan Stevens. Batting seventh, the shortstop from Kent State, number 6, Luke Matthews. Batting eighth, the first baseman from Nebraska, number 28, Case Sanderson. And batting ninth, the catcher from Stanford, number 17, Luke Lavin. The pitcher this evening for Cotuit, a right-handed pitcher from FAU, number 15, Ryan Buckler. And now it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Falmouth Commodores. First off, the manager in his first season with Falmouth, World Series champion, Jared Saltalamacchia. Leading off, the right fielder from the University of Maryland, number 2, Antonio Morales. Batting second, the shortstop from the University of Southern California, number 18, Adrian Lopez. Batting third, the center fielder from the University of Arkansas, number 3, Micah New. Batting fourth, the first baseman from Georgia Tech, number 10, Kent Schmidt. Batting fifth, the designated hitter from Alabama, number 7, Justin Osterhaus. Batting sixth, the second baseman from Cal Berkeley, number 8, Carl Schmidt. Batting seventh, the catcher from The Ohio State University, number 25, Mason Eckelman. Batting eighth, the left fielder from Oklahoma, number 24, Caden Brumbaugh. And batting ninth, the third baseman from the University of Tennessee, number 26, Chris Newstrom. The pitcher for your Commodores this evening, a righty from Holy Cross, Jaden Waiwoda. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that if you're able to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who protect our freedom with the singing of our national anthem. Tonight, we welcome Tommy Sullivan from Brockton, Massachusetts. He will be an incoming freshman at Providence College, where he will be majoring in theater. Tommy, whenever you're ready.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, and the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much. Let's hear it again for Tommy Sullivan.
Thank you.
Fans, tonight we welcome the Mount Rushmore of Boston Globe sports writers. Peter Gammons, Bob Ryan, Lane Montville, and Dan Shaughnessy. Let's give them a warm round of applause. Gammons has been called the nation's preeminent baseball writer, covering the Boston Red Sox, as well as a national baseball columnist. He was the lead baseball columnist for Sports Illustrated and was a regular on ESPN and Baseball Tonight. Ryan has been described as the quintessential American sports writer and a basketball guru, well known for his coverage of the sport, including stories covering the Boston Celtics in the 1970s. Montville, a talented and well-read columnist for the Boston Globe, has been a senior sports writer with Sports Illustrated and has authored many books, including bestsellers such as The Big Bam, a biography on legend Babe Ruth, and Ted Williams, the biography of American hero. Shaughnessy has covered the Boston Red Sox for the Boston Globe since 1981. In 2016, he was given the J.G. Taylor Spink Award by the Baseball Hall of Fame. And now, they are here to throw tonight's first pitches. Legends, are you ready? Whenever you are. Let's see what you got. I count 4 strikes. Congratulations to 4 legends of the Boston sports writers. Thank you for everything you've done for Massachusetts and sports in the United States. Let's give them a warm round of applause.
Just about ready for game number 30 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season. After tonight, we're 3/4 of the way through the year. It's matchup number 4 between the Falmouth Commodores and the Cotuit Kettleers. Second coming at Gov Fuller Field. Ben Haller, alongside my partner Andrew Delapiana, for a matchup between two teams that have been bottom feeding at least in the last week or so in that All-Star break in the West Division.
A big win last night for the Commodores in that first game back from the All-Star break. On the other hand, though, for Cotuit, it has not been a great start in these last week or so. Ugly getting into the break, struggles last night getting out of the break in that loss to Chatham. So two teams that are trying to make their way up the West Division standings as we get to these final 10 games of the season, but still a lot of work to do for these two teams.
Kettleers dead last in not only the West Division but in the whole league in points with just 24. Still a jumbled up league. We kind of talked about even them being in 10th place. Not a ton of points behind the first place team in Brewster sitting right now. But still, they're out of a playoff spot, and they're 3 points behind all of Falmouth, Hyannis, and Bourne, who are all tied with 27 points for second in the division. The Falmouth Commodores will put their trust back in Jaden Waiwoda to make his second start of his Cape Cod League season. And we'll take a look at the offense that Waiwoda is going to face here for Cotuit. Root to the problems and the win-loss record has been because of the offense for Cotuit.
You know, Jaron Avincula, who is a star for this team, an all-star, I should say, in the first month or so of the season. And then Jack Natilli right there in the middle of that 5 spot. He's kind of been that catalyst alongside of Vincula to get things done for this Cotuit team. But he's been dealing with a little bit of an injury this last week or so, and they're just going to need other characters in this lineup to step up.
You can see there, too, just 3 guys on the bench. It's not a very deep lineup, just in terms of numbers for Cotuit, too. So a lot of these guys getting starts night in, night out. They'll see Jaden Waiwoda, who had his first start at a little roughed up a little bit back at Brewster. He had a ERA back up to 7.71 at 4 2/3 innings pitched.
Allowing a 5 spot in that 3rd inning that lost last Wednesday to Brewster, where he allowed 7 hits. Did have 4 strikeouts, though, those coming in the first 2 innings of work, both when there was runners in scoring position. So Waiwoda, he did the same thing at Holy Cross. He was the pitcher of the year in that conference for a reason. It's because he can get out of jams and get you strikeouts, but was really roughed up in that first start against the Whitecaps. Good chance to bounce back against the Kets today.
The righty was dominant this past season at Holy Cross. You mentioned the Patriot League pitcher of the year at a 3.63 ERA in 16 starts for Holy Cross. Weather coming in today. One of the cooler evenings you're going to see here on the Cape. 72 degrees, feels like 73. Little bit of wind. It is not really doing much at the moment, not blowing out or in necessarily, and it feels like temperature could get down to low 60s tonight. So we're in for a very cool matchup as Waiwoda takes them out, and we're set for a first pitch just a bit before 6 o'clock p.m., and it will be Camden Johnson, the Wichita State's Oklahoma transfer, to start things off against Waiwoda. Kettleers just the 24 points on the season through 29 games. They're 11, 16, and 2. Commodores coming in at 13, 15, and 1, back up at 27 points. First pitch does come fired in at 5:59. It's a ball outside 2. Camden Johnson, one of the few guys on this Cotuit team, hitting over 300. He's got a 730 OPS to go with that this year. He's been pretty good. He was a member of that All-American Athletic Conference freshman team his freshman season. That one off the ankle of Waiwoda. Schmidt's going to try to make a tough play. No chance. So an awkward infield single off the foot of Waiwoda to start things off here in the visiting half of the first for Cotuit as we get a chance to take a look at the defense behind Jaden Waiwoda today. A little bit of a change in all Schmidt right side of the infield. And 2 new Commodores making their first starts in Falmouth, the catcher Elkelman and the left fielder Caden Brumbaugh.
And definitely a piece behind home plate for Mason Eckelman to kind of give Bear Harrison that day off after he definitely earned that after last night's performance.
Cotuit gets a lead runner, and they bring another lefty up to the plate in Dean West, who takes the first pitch strike. West a 1-for-2 day yesterday. Reached a couple of times with a couple of walks. He's reaching up to that 300 batting average mark. 294 so far on the season. So a lot of pickoff moves from Waiwoda. He's got one of the better moves you're going to see as a righty. You saw it against Brewster. Try to get Johnson too far off the bag. Fastball right down the middle. This one popped high. Long run, Morales loses his head in the process, but makes the play for the first out. Morales kind of been that mainstay in right field this season for Falmouth as West is retired. Talked about Brumbaugh in left field on the other corner infield for Falmouth. He is someone who played a lot of infield at Nebraska this past season, transferring over to Oklahoma. But we see a lot of guys changing positions a little bit, going to places they didn't have the opportunity to play at in the spring. So that's kind of the case with Brumbaugh here. Now one out with the runner on first base for Ryan Farber. And a pitch clock violation. That's going to be on Cotuit. It was Farber getting the signs from Lauren Hibbs in the Cotuit dugout, the Cotuit manager, and just took too much time getting into the box. It's going to be a 0-1 count to start this thing off.
I was a little bit confused because he was stepping outside for what felt like a long time to get that signal from Hibbs, and I was looking at the pitch clock, wondering he's going to step in.
Runner takes off with the first pitch. It's grounded right at Kent Schmidt. That'll eliminate the double play ball, though. Not sure if they would have made it anyway, but Camden Johnson taking off for second. A big reason there is no double play. It is just the ground out to first unassisted, and a man early in scoring position for the Kettleers. Falmouth got the scoring started first yesterday with a three-run top of the second inning out at Harwich. They would not look back for a 5-2 win. It's Caden Bogenpol, 2 outs, center runner on second. First pitch low. Bogenpol, the rising junior from Jackson, Missouri. And back to Missouri State for his junior season. He was an All-Missouri Valley Conference second team member and also an All-Missouri Valley Conference tournament team member. That one roped down the right field line. That's going to score a run. Easy wave as Johnson comes around to score. Picked up deep and right by Morales. Kettleers on the board. It's an RBI double for Caden Bogenpol. His 7th on the season. And an early 1-0 deficit for Falmouth.
Cotuit really playing into the struggles of Falmouth, where you get to that 2-out mark, Ben, and time again, these hitters continuously put balls into the outfield to continue these innings. 91st hit allowed by the Commodores when there's 2 outs in an inning this season. That is by far the most on Cape Cod.
Struggling with 2 outs. This is a Falmouth team that has scored first in each of the last 2 matchups, going back to Falmouth on Friday afternoon before the All-Star break. Now 1-0 Cotuit, and a pitch outside to Jack Natilli, who in a lot of ways has maybe been the best hitter on this Cotuit team this season. Got that 854 OPS. That's a team high for qualified batters to go with his 5 home runs and 20 RBIs. Big swing and a miss. He wanted his 6th home run. But Natilli, the Cincinnati Bearcat, making a name for himself, had a great year at Cincinnati last year. All Big 12 second team with a .338 batting average and that 100 percentage points batting average improvement from .238 to .338 from his freshman to sophomore year with Cincinnati. It's a Bearcat team that's caught a lot of teams off guard, caught a lot of people off guard, ended up making the Knoxville Regional. And on that first game against Wake Forest, where they got to Wake Forest starter, and Blake Morningstar. This ball runs in, makes it 2-1, but eventually lost the next 2 games to Tennessee and then in a rematch with Wake Forest. Natilli ahead, the 2-1, and a change-up called strike. 2-strike count for Waiwoda, still looking for his first strikeout of this start. In his first 4 2/3 innings. He's got 4 strikeouts, so about a strikeout per inning so far. Fastball this time, grounded right at Chris Newstrom. First time a third in a while, but he makes the play over to first for out number 3. Cotuit Kettleers on the board, an RBI double from Caden Bogenpole. As the Falmouth will try to play catch up the rest of this one on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Kinlan Grover Compass, Massachusetts State Lottery, Milton Cat, OT Sports, Quincy College, Reader's Hardware Supply, Southern Recognition, T-Mobile, Velo Sports, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Antonio Morales from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters.
Third start of the season for Ryan Buckler, and the first time we'll see the Falmouth Commodores for a lineup that looks a little different today. Top 6 the same as yesterday, but that bottom 3 has totally changed, including 2 new faces: Mason Uckelman from Ohio State and Caden Brumball, the new Oklahoma Sooner.
And maybe a little bit surprised to not see Ryan Zuckerman in the lineup after the night he had last night with that home run. And him and Harrison there right in the mix on the bench, combined to go 5 for 8 as we talked about earlier in the telecast. But to have those new faces in the lineup, I think you're still trying to find a new 7, 8, 9 that can give you guys a chance as you get back to the top of that lineup.
Maybe trying to find a new 7, 8, 9. Also, maybe just trying to get as many guys playing time as possible. Bill Harrison, not as surprising not to see him in the starting lineup, but the catcher rotation. Here's Ryan Buckler's number on the year, and one word: good. 1.84 ERA so far, 7 strikeouts in his 14 2/3 innings pitched. But Andrew, the most impressive number for me, I guess both of those at the bottom, like 2 walks, 14 2/3, and a whip of less than .9.
A very major contact kind of guy, but the thing that has impressed me in his first 7 appearances, and this being only his 3rd start as well, is he doesn't allow a lot of hard contact to his opposing hitters, and most of Commodore's contact in the last couple of games has been right at those defenders.
Morales will lead things off for the Commodores. They're trying to come back early after a 1-0 lead for Cotuit. Here's the first play for Buckler, and that weak contact, like you talked about, induces a 1-3 putout for the first out. Now Adrian Lopez, the last few games, has not been seeing the ball well. He had a stretch that dates back to the Friday game where he struck out 7 straight at-bats. Also had a strikeout in the All-Star game where he was a reserve. Take a look at the Kettleer defense, though, and Caden Bogenpole, Dean West. Those are 2 guys who've been a mainstay in center and left for Cotuit this year.
You also got the All-Star at second base in Ryan Farber, but no All-Star catcher tonight, Jack Natilli. He's tonight's DH.
Change up at the knees for Lopez to get him started off 0-1. Talked about him being an All-Star reserve, but recently hasn't felt like one. A 222 batting average now, an OPS of under 600. So Sky wanted a shallow right in the Bermuda's triangle. It will be Farber to make the play. That's 3 pitches, 2 outs for Buckler to start this game off. We've seen this a lot for Falmouth, swinging early in counts.
Let's go Razorback.
And you don't see anybody as aggressive as the man that's coming to the plate, and Micah New, coming off a Golden Sombrero appearance. There's been 3 guys with that Golden Sombrero, 4 strikeouts in the last 2 games combined for Falmouth. Both Micah New and Tristan Salinas yesterday after Adrian Lopez on Friday. Change up just a bit high for ball 1. Feels like the first game in a while New didn't have a base hit. He's hitting to .323 on the year. Still in the tied for the league lead at 20 home runs. And another pop-up, this time a little more shallow outfield, but it will be his shortstop, Luke Matthews, to pull it in for out number 3. So how about that? Ground out, pop-up, 6 pitches for Ryan Buckler to get out of the bottom of the first through one frame. 1-0 Kettleers, Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Veolia North America, Wilson Sporting Goods, Yawkey Foundation, Netting Pros, Falmouth Publishing Company, Butler Sporting Goods, Sports Fix, Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, Sunderland Printing, Del Mar Vacation Rentals, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Hi, I'm TJ Coates. I'm a right-handed pitcher from the University of Nebraska, and I'd love to give a special shout-out to my brother. Love you, big man.
Despite the sub-500 record for Falmouth, they're coming off a win. They also led the league in All-Stars Saturday when they saw the All-Star game. And that man right there was the West Division All-Star MVP, Antonio Morales. Had a 2-for-2 day. He was the only guy in the West Division lineup to go 2-for-2. And he is someone who's starting to get back on that upward climb after a really hot start to the year, a little dip before the All-Star break.
In a game that featured a lot of offense in that All-Star game. The East winning that one 13-8. Huge crowd on hand at Red Wilson Field, too. Over 7,000 people in that All-Star game.
That's a lot of people. Now, Morales, he's had the ups and downs offensively. Defensively, he's been a star in right field no matter which way you slice it. First pitch now to the lefty Noah Stevens, takes it outside for ball one. Take that called strike. Stevens, the 632 OPS so far. Does have the 2 home runs. Mississippi State Bulldog this past season. Change up, roped hard down the right field line. Again, another dropping it for base hit right in front of Antonio Morales. Back-to-back innings with the base hit into right. And back-to-back innings with the leadoff man on base for Cotuit. We talked about where things went south for Waiwota against Brewster was that third inning. But before that, yeah, it was pretty solid. Didn't give up a run in the first 2. 5 runners came to the plate in the first, 4 runners came to the second, but then they hit around in that third inning. Bunt laid down here for the 7-hitter Luke Matthews, and it does the job as Waiwota flips to first. Nolan Stevens now in scoring position.
Interesting to see Cotuit early in this ball game try to play the small ball game. You know, the numbers with this team really don't tell the story of the season, Ben. They got top 3 in a number of offensive categories that have been incredible here in the month of July. The pitching, second best ERA-wise, but
it's kind of one of those situations where they just haven't been able to put it all together.
Yeah.
Runner on second with 1 out for Case Sanderson, takes a pitch outside. Teammates this past season with Caden Brumbaugh and TJ Coates back at Nebraska. Sanderson will go back to Lincoln this upcoming year. He was spectacular for him. He's been one of their best hitters for 2 straight seasons and back-to-back Big Ten championship victories. It's tournament champion, that is. Sanderson fell someone out to make it 1-1. 3-for-3 day yesterday, but no RBIs, did not score. Called outside again from home plate umpire Aaron Brown out there with Joe Gravina at first base, Mike Griffin at third. Those are 3 umpires today, as Waiwota has worked down to the count. Stevens is dancing over there at second base. Now you get a hitter's count coming up for the first baseman, Sanderson. Decent speed for Stevens, too. It's the right fielder. take off for third base. Pitch outside, throw way over the head of the third baseman, Newstrom. And that's going to be a jog on home for Nolan Stevens. So the first chance in this Cape League season for Mason Eckelman. Sails it over the third baseman's head. It's 2-0 Kettleers.
And that pitch way outside almost looked like a pitch out, if you will, where the momentum takes Eckelman out to his left, gives him a little bit more momentum to throw down to third. But honestly, it just seems like he rushed the throw getting there.
Yeah, maybe even too much momentum. He fired that ball to third base. That was thrown hard. Even if it didn't go over his head, might have been too high to bring that tag down, but it seemed like it placed at a perfect spot. That was ball 4, too, so Sanderson gets first base. So another man on. Still just the one out in the inning on the sac bunt with the 9-hitter Luke Lavin at the plate. Takes the first pitch strike. Stanford Cardinal still looking for his first home run of the year at a .242 batting average. Just gets a piece, fouled back, 0-2. Iwota, that Patriot League Pitcher of the Year a season ago, again, something that's been most impressive with him, the improvement from freshman to sophomore to junior season. 9.79 ERA in 16 appearances as a freshman, 5.61 his sophomore year, and 3.63 in his 16 starts. 0-2, again, defensive swing for Lavin, who stays alive. Maybe one of the other most impressive things, only giving up a total of 13 home runs in his first 3 seasons at Holy Cross. And he's mostly getting starts, too, so it's a very hard thing to do. So not a lot of home runs.
And that makes it even more impressive that each outing, too, is 6-7 innings as well. It's not your 3-4 like you'll usually get here on Cape Cod.
1-2 in that same spot, even this thing up. But yeah, this past season in 2025, again, it's not like he was feeding on Patriot League teams. He had a 4-inning appearance where only gave up 1 earned run to Auburn. Got to pitch against Nebraska. Just had that matchup with Case Sanderson where he went 5 1/3, only gave up 2 runs in the regional this past year. Change up for ball 3, so Iwota gets started off 0-2. And we've run full with just 1 out and runner on first.
Even with Iwota's body language right now, you can tell something is a little off kilter right now.
Takes off for second. It's ball 4, so throw does not matter. 0-2, and Luke Lavin works a walk, back-to-back walks. As Iwota's now 1 time through the lineup, struggling with command, and Todd Carroll will make his way out to the mound. All you'd hope is just that this is not trying to make it snowball to that 3rd inning he had in that first appearance against Brewster.
And even beforehand, Todd Carroll came out to the mound. Adrian Lopez also, quick word of confidence with him as well.
It's a pretty quick meeting for Todd Carroll, too. Didn't even get a chance for the home plate umpire, Aaron Brown, to head out to the mound. So a second opportunity for Camden Johnson, who started this game off with an infield single. That was the one that was a grounder stinger right back at Iwota, nailed off his ankle. And then he eventually came around to score on the Caden Bogenpole RBI double. So Sanderson at second, Lavin at first base. Just the one out in the top of the lineup. First pitch fouled back. Johnson this past year at Wichita State before moving to Oklahoma. 326 in his sophomore season. On a 3-hit game in the American tournament. Lays down a bunt. That one's fouled back. Bunt's eliminated. Now it's 0-2.
Did you also see that change? No more American Athletic Conference.
Yeah.
Just the American now.
Had a new mascot for
Soar the Eagle.
Is that, we were talking about it, is that the first conference that has a
I think it is. That
mascot?
has a brand ambassador, as they're calling it, yeah.
more teams going to hop on that.
Just interesting for a conference to have a mascot. Because
Every
other school already has one,
well, so that's the question: is he going to like show up to every game? Is he going to show
how
up
does
to
that
select
work?
games? Is it even like a real physical mascot that goes around?
I just saw the rendering to the drawing, and that's really it. So it's a lot of sports that go on at one time with the conference. So
this 1-2's golf tie in the air. Morales another long run, but should settle under it for the second out. Sanderson not far off the second base bag. Lavin has to sprint back to first. That's the second out of the top of the second inning.
And also Memphis trying to leave that conference as well. Did you see how much was offered for them to get to the Big 12?
And the Big 12 still said no.
No, correct. $250 million.
Why are they so upset? Does the Big 12 have their own mascot?
No. What would that be? It's a fun little activity to play.
I was thinking in my head, here's Dean West from UCLA, change up outside. Started this game off with a fly out to right. It was another awkward head of the bat one he pulled. And sent Antonio Morales on a long run. That's one of the best hitters for a UCLA team that made the College World Series this past year. Made it all the way to the semifinals before they just ran into a red-hot Coastal Carolina team who did not lose many games up until the finals.
Is that win streak 26 games, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Mid-20s. Lines the zone with a 2-0 count, Waiwota. Those 2 walks in this inning are just walks number 3 and 4 for him. And his total of now 6 innings pitched here on the Cape. That's 6 1/3. Change up, check, swing, hold, strike anyway. Back from 2-0 to make it 2-2 now on West. West, that do-it-all guy for UCLA a season ago. Had a decent amount of power, but stole a decent amount of bases too. He had 4 home runs, but 41 RBIs. Right to Adrian Lopez, easy flip to get out of the inning. So one more comes around for Cotuit after a leadoff single and then the error behind the plate from Mason Eckelman. We head to the bottom of the second, 2-0 Kettleers on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
What's up? I'm Ken Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Ryan Buckler's got a 2-0 lead to work with as the Cotuit Kettleers try to make their way up the West Division standings. In dead last place of this league, and Falmouth has got their work cut out for them in this ballgame. 2-0 deficit, one at each frame so far for the Kettleers. It was just a 6-pitch bottom of the first for Buckler, who has been outstanding this whole season long. Maybe the ace, as you will, for this Cotuit team.
And only recently as well moving into that starter role. His first 5 appearances, all out of the bullpen.
It's Ken Schmidt to start things off here in the second. First pitch low to him. 2 for 4 day yesterday. As he has begun to hit a little bit. It's back-to-back 2-hit games for him, and he's got his batting average. It's 292. Andrew, he's got a chance to get to that 300 mark soon. From where he was in the first 7-8 games of the season, it's really impressive. This one chopped, and a soft run for Farber, makes the play. So another at-bat to start this inning off. That's just 2 pitches, so 8 pitches thrown for Buckner so far.
Number 7, Justin Osterhouse. Number 7.
One down to the second for Justin Osterhouse.
Commodores kind of taking the same approach they did last night, that victory against Harwich, where you got up, didn't see a lot of pitches, but just a lot more hard contact. Ooh.
Well, here's the first base runner. That ran way inside. Osterhouse, no chance to get out of the way. Was able to turn. I think that hit him kind of on the back of his calf. Still on the ground waiting for trainer Matty Keff to look at it. It's not a fun spot to get hit. And, you know, we joke about it all the time. These guys nowadays have padding pretty much everywhere. Another place that doesn't really have a whole lot of padding. That calf area.
That slider that just broke in a little too much.
So Osterhouse will make that slow walk down to first base with Saltalamacchia there now, too. And it looks like he'll be okay. So runner on first base with just one out here on the bottom of the second for Falmouth. Now, first opportunity for Carl Schmidt. Who has just been about everywhere in the lineup these last few days. The leadoff hitter for a few games in a row. For yesterday, out of the All-Star break, Saltalamacchia made a change, moving him back to the 6th hole. And Osterhouse immediately taking off. Grounder right at third base. Camden Johnson threw across the infield. That probably would have been a double play if Osterhouse didn't take off for second. And you don't see a whole lot. Someone getting hit on the leg and the first pitch of the next at-bat trying to steal a base.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I think maybe slow things down a little bit. Maybe wait for that pain to release itself a little bit. 2, 3. Now I'm just going to take off.
I always say, you know, sometimes you just got to jog off those injuries.
Osterhouse
wanted to sprint off the injury. He moves into scoring position with 2 outs. And the first plate appearance for Mason Eckelman, who takes a fastball off the plate. 281 batting average this past year at Ohio State, a Buckeyes team that didn't have a ton of success this past year in the Big Ten. They're a first-year head coach into a transition year. But they finished dead last in the Big Ten, didn't make the Big Ten tournament in Omaha. And Eckelman's got an even 1-1 count. Takes a look at second base. Now comes Solom Eckelman a bit off the plate. Eckelman had that error in the top half of this inning that eventually let a run come around to score. Try to steal third base and sailed it over his head. This ball off the plate again. Very different role in these last few starts now for Buckler. Was exclusively a reliever. They used him a lot, but they didn't use him for very long. Did not have a single appearance of over 2 innings in Florida Atlantic this past year. Change up, called, strike on the inner part of the plate.
And hitters hit very well against him too, just over 300. And when you don't have a lot of time to work with, you only threw 11 2/3 innings, and when you have those limited amount of appearances, you got to make the most of it. Struggle a little bit.
On an awkward part of the bat, but that'll hang up just enough for Caden Bogenpol to make the play. Falmouth gets their first man on, still no base hits for them, and they will take that 2-0 deficit to the third. Cotuit in control here on Cape League TV.
source has it all. The pros' go-to rental choice for the newest and most reliable equipment for any job. One source that has a team you can rely on, the people and a name you trust, with the tools you need. One source with a location near you and wherever the work takes you. Milton Rents, the right equipment when and where you need it.
Hi, I'm Mike Newton from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my boy T.
Jaden Waiwoda trying to settle in for Falmouth. Will get his third opportunity on the mound and will face 3, 4, 5. And the Cotuit lineup on another beautiful night here at Gov Fuller Field. This is a picture-perfect day on the Cape in Falmouth. First week in some time, we'll get 3 home games here at Gov Fuller Field. Friday and Saturday night, 2 perfect nights to come on down to the Gov and watch some baseball. Commodores fighting to stay in a playoff spot for now. We have a chance to get to that top couple of spots. It is very tight, just 3 points behind the Wareham Gatemen, who sit alone in first place, winning 8 of their last 9. They have been red hot. Ryan Farber to get us started. Waiwoda so far. He's got the 2 innings of work. 3 base hits in those couple innings. Both runs are earned. He's given up a couple of walks as well. Strike Anthony's to the West Division All-Star Ryan Farber. 2 home runs for him on the year, but the money is made of the batting average, .299. He grounded to first his first time up, though. Righty on lefty matchup, and the fastball runs off the plate. Talk about the longer appearances for Waiwoda this past year. This ball hit back up the middle, and another leadoff runner on for Cotuit. Ryan Farmer's got his first base of the game. Base hit of the game. 92 miles an hour off the bat, back up the middle. Base hit number 4, now on Waiwoda. Still nothing going on in the Falmouth bullpen. Caden Bogenpool makes his way to the plate. Runs in each inning for Cotuit so far. 5 batters came to the plate of the first, and 6 batters came to the plate in the second. Bogenpool didn't score the first one, brought the first run of this game in with an RBI double. Strike just on the outer part to make it 0-1 on him. It's the 7th RBI of the season. Pretty good number for that batting average below the Mendoza line, so he's hitting in big moments. Missouri State Bear. Ball in that same spot. It seems like Waiwoda's been living on the outer part of the plate too. Lefties just hasn't been able to find the zone much on that spot. Just the 2 walks for him though. It's more the base hits that have been the issue. Fastball outside. Again, it's 3-1.
And these misses too by Waiwoda, they're not close ones either. These haven't been tough takes from these Kettleers hitters. And that makes that discipline game just a whole lot easier when you're looking for that perfect pitch, and they've gotten it.
This time does come down the middle of the plate, finds the outside corner. Runs the count full. Trying to avoid that 3rd walk of this ballgame. He's already thrown a total of 45 pitches and 2+ innings. Runner goes with a payoff pitch, ball 4, another throw that does not matter. So 2 runners on once again for Cotuit, with the dangerous Jack Natilli coming to the plate. Now there is a righty warming up in the Falmouth bullpen. Can't quite get a number on it, but an opportunity for Cotuit to open this thing up. See if Natilli can at least get the runners over. Came outside of the righty.
It's one of the newest Commodores, Reese Markham from Gulf Coast State, warming up.
5 additions for Falmouth coming out of the All-Star break before yesterday's game. You see 2 of them in today's game. The other 3 are pitchers, Markham being one of them. P.J. Rogan being another, who was a switch pitcher, and we're excited to have some stories about him later. Andrew, I can't pitch with either of my hands, so I don't know how being able to do it 2 works. Swing and a miss, both runners steal, and that one sails over the head of Newstrom again. So an easy score for Ryan Farber. Bogenpole will stay at second base as it's picked up and left by Brubball. But it's 3-0 Kettleers here at the top of the third, and that one wasn't even close.
I think there had to be 4 Chris Newstroms for him to even make that play.
Maybe first game jitters for the New Ohio State catcher. That one grounded to the left side, through for a base hit. Bogenpole waiting up at second to see if that play was made. So he just gets the 90 feet, and Jack Natilli is up to first base with a single. So Kettleers don't score any on that hit. But now they're on the corner, still nobody out, and already want to cross in the third inning.
Just saw Gerald Saltalamacchia say something into the walkie-talkie. Might be tell the guys in the bullpen to speed things up just a little bit.
There was briefly another righty up and warming in the Falmouth bullpen, and probably telling Eckelman to go up and talk to Waiwo to buy some time for the bullpen. With a 3-0 lead, Falmouth now being out hit by Cotuit 5-0 as well, an error on each side. So Waiwota's running into a second frustrating start, and here now comes Todd Carroll. So I think this is really a game of buying time. Get the catcher pitcher's meeting, and actually he's going to make the pitching change. At least it looked like for the time being. And it will be the new Falmouth Commodore, Reese Markham. So Commodores go to the bullpen early in this one, just 2 complete innings of work for the starter, Jaden Waiwota. 3-0 Kettleers. See you on the other end of the break on Cape League TV.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Hi, I'm Justin Osterhaus from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my parents and my brother, Becky and JD Osterhaus and Brady Osterhaus.
Second man on the mound for the Falmouth Commodores just in this top of the third inning, and it's Reese Markham, the JUCO product from Gulf Coast State Junior College. Will try to get out of this. Runners on first and third with 0 outs, jamming a 3-0 lead for the Commodores, making his first appearance in Falmouth. This past season at Florida Gulf Coast State. A pretty decent season.
Started his career at South Carolina, then makes that transition to playing junior college. Didn't get any playing time with the Gamecocks, so kind of using this season as a revitalization, if you will, of his collegiate career.
Was a pretty high recruit coming out of college before making his way to South Carolina. He's a hometown guy from Lexington, South Carolina, not going too far to get to Columbia. First pitch he throws is a strike down the middle of the zone for Nolan Stevens, who led off last inning with a single and ended up coming around to score on a sac bunt. Then an error from Mason Eckelman, who has made a second error allowing a run to score in this inning. 2 errors for Falmouth so far. Beautiful curveball. Catches the outside corner. You see that from Markham. A lot of break on that pitch. Stevens just 1 for 1 today, getting his first start since the All-Star break. Makes most of his starts against righties. 0-2 pitch called, strike 3. All 3 on that outer third of the plate. And Reese Markham's first batter faced as a Commodore is a strikeout looking.
Can't really ask for a better start from that. First strikeout by the Commodore staff in this ball game. Comes at a perfect time.
Now he works his way to the bottom third of the lineup. Still trying to get out of the jam, but good spot for the first out. Now it's Luke Matthews, the shortstop. Taken low and inside for ball 1. Matthews still looking for his first official at bat. Sack bunt the first time up for him. Popped up into foul territory. A slight chase for Chris Newstrom, but he'll let that bounce out of play towards the open left field grassy hill. Decent amount of fans today down that hill. This is another outstanding turnout at Gov Fuller Field today.
Just shoot everything you can. That's what it is. And all year round. So habits are reflexes. It's the muscle memory. That's why I use 2 identical bodies.
1-1 fastball fouled back for Stevens. Matthews. Kansas State product. One of the best players in the MAC this past season, heading into his senior year. He also started as a JUCO guy at Ball-O-Mac College, but he was All-MAC second team this past year as the shortstop. Change up in the dirt, even a 2.
I've really been impressed with Markham's curveball. We saw it twice in that first strikeout at Stevens. Just has a whole lot of break to it.
Stevens didn't even start the season as the starting shortstop for Kent State. It was later in the year he got a total of 43 starts. That one's ground hard right at Newstrom. Throw to second, brings Schmidt off the bag, and he cannot record 1, let alone 2 outs. And a run comes in for Cotuit. What could have been a double play, or at the very least a fielder's choice to get 1 out, is another error on the Falmouth Commodores.
This has just been a defensive nightmare for the Commodores in these first 3 innings. Pretty feels like simple routine plays. Guys stealing down to third base, ground ball in your direction, over to second. You cannot give good hitting teams extra outs.
So it's Bogenpol that scores. Jack Natili is up to second base. Now with Luke Matthews taking over at first. Still just the 1 out in the inning, but now it's Markham who's not getting any help from his defense with Case Sanderson at the plate. And a called strike right on the outer corner. Sanderson's walked today, so he has not been retired in his last 4 plate appearances after a 3-for-3 day yesterday. Got the batting average up to 254 with that 3-for-3 day too. Change up throw into the dirt, but a nice block by Eckelman. Throw will go down to second base. Good one, got him! So Eckelman recovers and guns down the runner, going first to second. Luke Matthews heads back to the dugout, but Jack Natili does get third base, second out of the inning, and just 1 runner on. It's 90 feet away.
Well, that is a huge second out. Good heads-up play there by Eckelman, too. Notice, took a quick glance over at third. Notice he couldn't get the runner there.
Pitch was a ball because it was low, so it's 1-1 now. Pop the foul, 1-2. And honestly, again, it's one of those things where the first couple of throws that were errors for Elkelman. Felt like pretty easy plays to make. Felt like they were tailor-made for him. That one, didn't have to think about it too much. Just made a throw, had to block it first. So maybe just thinking too much for Elkelman on his first 2 errors. 1-2, called, strike 3. So Reese Markham comes into this 3rd inning as Falmouth does let another one up with him on the mound on an error, but a couple of strikeouts heading to the bottom of the 3rd. 4-0 Kettleers on Cape League TV.
At Cape Cod Healthcare, we're committed to excellence and compassion in everything we do, like helping people maintain their active lifestyles. Our innovative orthopedic program combines advanced techniques and leading-edge technology with highly specialized teams, including our nationally recognized Center of Excellence for Joint Replacement. Our focus is getting you back to doing the things you love, in the place you love.
The Center of Excellence and the quality of care that we can deliver makes all the difference to the patients. They understand that they can get the best care right here on Cape Cod.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Great turnout here at Gov Fuller Field for game number 30 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season. But a couple really special guests. Our 3rd member of the crew, Ryan Martin, has more. Ryan. Apologize for some technical difficulties. Hope to hear that later in the broadcast on some of our special guests. Back at the bottom of the 3rd. Falmouth has no offense for them so far. They have no base hits. Just the 1 runner has reached on an error. A hit by pitch from Justin Osterhaus. See the first opportunity for Caden Brumbaugh. I saw Mason Elkelman pop to center to end the 2nd inning as his first plate appearances with Falmouth. Now Brumbaugh. First pitch to Brumbaugh, right down the middle of the zone for strike 1. Hit over 300 in his sophomore season at Nebraska before 267 this past year. He'll make the change from being a Cornhusker to being a Sooner, just a little bit down south this upcoming year, back to his hometown, or home state, I should say. He's from Oklahoma, started his career at Oklahoma State. Change up, called strike on the outer part of the plate. Make it a 1-2 count now for the 3rd inning of work for Ryan Buckler. This ball is going to be a tough play for the 3rd baseman Johnson to make. He's sprinting up to throw it. A close play. Safe. Caden Brumbaugh's first at-bat as a Falmouth Commodore. He beats out an infield single, 1 on to the first base hit for Falmouth. And now we have a little bit of time and hopefully figured it out to get you Ryan Martin telling you about those special guests. Ryan? Third time's a charm, hopefully, later in this game. Chris Newstrom struggled at the plate, but he's, the last few games, hasn't really seen a lot of playing time. This ball right down the middle of the zone. It's interesting, you can play them really anywhere, but now that Falmouth's getting some reinforcements. Still hitting below that Mendoza line at 143. He's got a home run at 4 RBIs. Check on Brumbaugh is just the second base runner for Falmouth in this game. And for Newstrom, maybe the All-Star break combined with a couple of games out of the starting lineup could just be a reset, at least mentally, for him. Change up off the plate to make it an even 1-1. This one hit hard, but right at Luke Matthews. Flip to second, 6-4-3. So the leadoff base runner and first base hit for Falmouth is eliminated by that double play earned by Matthews and Farber. 8-9 down in this Falmouth lineup for the top of Antonio Morales.
Yeah, that's just frustrating, especially too for Brumbaugh, where he beats it out with that infield single, then Newstrom just tailor-made to short.
Now Morales an opportunity with 2 outs, nobody on base. First pitch off. He was first pitch swinging in the top of the first inning, grounded right back to the pitcher. After an 0-for-4 day yesterday, he's 0 for his last 6 now, dating back to Friday's game before the All-Star break. But a 2-0 count on a fastball up. Buckler has still been efficient, and that double play certainly helps. Just 24 pitches for him so far, and the 2 2/3. Morales fouled off to the third base side. First time this season that the batting average has dipped below 250 for Morales. Also down the first baseline. He's been cold. That was around, like we talked about, the very good All-Star game that he had. Going 2 for 2. And he's somebody that didn't really get consistent playing time at Wake Forest, so it's hard to really tell by his numbers. But he only had 233 in Winston-Salem this past year. Looking for a change of scenery on a college park this next season. Fastball off the end of the bat into shallow center. It'll drop in for a base hit right in front of Caden Bogenpool. So it is the second base hit of this bottom of the third inning, but double play in the middle. Just 2 outs with the runner on first base.
And just sitting back on that breaking ball too. It's not something you see a whole lot with 2 strikes, especially from Buckler. But just good patience by Morales to adjust in the middle of the zone.
Adrian Lopez with the runner on first. And 2 outs now. Pop to second. Had 3 strikeouts yesterday after a 5 strikeout game on Friday. Did have a fly out to left that kind of came in the middle of those strikeouts, and it kind of felt like, all right, just him making contact at least as a step in the right direction, and came back in the next at-bat with another strikeout. Fouls one back. Everyone goes through ruts like that and struggles. Is the fact that it's strikeouts more than anything any more concerning than another 0-for-8 stretch?
I think so, because at that point, you know, when you have the at-bats that Lopez usually does where you're getting pieces of stuff, so you know you have the confidence and the ability to get to those pitches. But that swing and miss and that confidence with 2 strikes, that's when it becomes a little bit underneath the surface a little bit more. At that point, the baseball just kind of looks like a golf ball out there.
Yeah, well, he popped to second his first time. That was part of a 6-pitch inning with a ground out, pop-up, and pop-up. Still just no 1 count and a couple of throwovers. And now he's going to punch one into right. Opposite way base hit, sprinting through second. Morales, he'll get to third. They're on the corners. And the first base hit since Thursday for Adrian Lopez. Got to break through that rut. You can see the smile from first base coach Quinn Stromberg.
I definitely can tell you the joke that Quinn just gave me is that you scorched that off the bat, 65 miles per hour, but Lopez will respond with, hey, to get in the outfield, I'll take that. Sometimes they don't ask how, they just ask how many.
Going the opposite way, and Micah knew the dangerous Commodore hitter has an opportunity. Him tying a run on deck, Commodores trailing by 3. He's first pitch swinging, change up. It's going to be called a foul ball by the home plate umpire, who was in the best position in Aaron Brown. Ball had no chance to be called fair. touched right, adjacent to third base, in foul territory though by Camden Johnson. So New will make the slow walk back to the plate.
And before that, Morales at bat. I feel like everything was going against the Commodores right now. So with a little bit of momentum from the top two guys in your lineup, nobody else you'd rather have up right now than New to kind of change the trajectory of this game.
Well, the second time through the lineup has gone much better than the first for Buckler. Obviously, just the 2 at-bats so far, but 2 base hits. Change up at a beautiful spot. Now News in an 0-2 hole. And, Andrew, the interesting thing is the 2 2/3 dominance so far for Buckler has come with 0 strikeouts, but it's exactly the guy we thought he was coming into the game, and we talked about it. 0-2 runs, 1-2.
You don't go 7 strikeouts in over 14 innings and not have a lot of those strikeout numbers.
He's got the weak contact. 3 pop-ups for him so far, and he's induced a ground ball. Or induced a double play and a couple more ground balls. Swing and a miss for Mike Adu. Perfect time for Ryan Buckler's first strikeout of this ball game. He'll leave the runners on the corners. So third of the way through, it's 4-0 Kettleers heading to the 4th on Cape League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Top of the 4th inning in a 4-0 Cotuit Kettleers lead over the Falmouth Commodores. It's a special night for that reason right there. It is Mount Rushmore of Boston Globe Sports Writer Night. On your screen there you see Dan Shaughnessy on the right, Bob Ryan to his right. They're joined alongside by Lee Montville and the legendary Peter Gammons. It's a special night here at Gov Fuller Field Bend to honor these 4 Boston Globe sports writers. They threw at the first pitch, have been signing autographs, and will be featured on Cape League TV later this week.
Hey, third time is a charm, Ryan.
There you go.
Thank you so much for that insight. Well worth the wait as 4 great ones here at Gov Fuller Field today. Very special guests. We've reached the top of the 4th inning. Cotuit's put up 1 on each of the first 2 frames at a 2 spot back in the 3rd when they chased Falmouth starter Jaden Waiwoda. So now the first full inning of action, at least we're going to try for the new righty, Reese Markham. But he started off with a pitch clock violation. It'll be 1-0. We have now seen an offensive pitch clock violation and a pitching pitch clock violation. First pitch swinging is Luke Lavin, and a throw over from Carl Schmidt to retire the first out here in 4th. It is an all Schmidt right side of the infield today for the Commodores. We've seen Carl Schmidt play many different spots. But now the top of the lineup, Camden Johnson already his 3rd at bat. Pretty good start for Markham. He saw 6, 7, 8, 9 to start. So he struck out Nolan Stevens, then 1 scored on an error. And then another error at 3rd base for Luke Matthews. Case Sanderson struck him out, and now the ground out to 2nd to start this inning off. But he started Johnson off 1-0. Johnson 1 for 2 with the infield single, then a fly to right in the 2nd. Check swing. Did he go? He did not, says 3rd base umpire Mike Griffin. Well, Markham starting his career over at South Carolina and then heading to Gulf Coast State. He will head back to Gulf Coast State for his junior season of college. Outside Corner again, this time strike one. A lot like Jaden Waiwoda, trying to find that outside corner to the lefty hitters for Cotuit. Cotuit came with a lot of lefties in this lineup, knowing there was a righty on the mound. They're a team that platoons a little bit as much as they can. They only have 12 hitters on the active roster. 3-1 pitch, way high for ball four. So that's the first walk that Markham has given up. Puts a runner on first base with one out of the inning. Second time Johnson has been on base today. I'm going to put 2 on base in that bottom of the third, but couldn't get anything across.
Only 4 walks for the Commodores right now. Feels like a whole lot more than that.
Yeah. 3 of them from Waiwoda, now that first one from Markham. No throw over before getting Dean West started. West 0 for 2 with a fly out to right. They bounce into a fielder's choice in the second inning, stranding a couple of runners. Runner takes off for second base. It's a good pitch, and the throw bounced to second base. At least that stays in the infield this time, but no chance to get the runner at second. So Eckelman, an interesting outing already. Couple of errors, but he had a really nice throw back in the third inning. But that's about all he was able to get in this fourth throw was low. And a generous strike zone behind the plate from Aaron Brown. That's a cold strike on the outer part. Dean West disagrees. Curveball, called strike. We've seen him break out that curveball a couple of times, and it's looked really good both times.
And West even asking for an explanation.
This time, no chance for that to be called a strike. Dean West, I got at a very good year at UCLA. It's a true leadoff hitter for the Bruins. He had a .500 batting average when leading off innings. So he really broke out after only 12 starts his freshman year. Had a couple of games where he scored 4 different times. That shows you how many times he was on base. A couple against pretty good opponents too, Cincinnati and Iowa throughout the year. As the righty Markham steps off. Also had a couple of 2 for 4 days in the College World Series this past season. One against Murray State, one against Arkansas. Foul ball off the end of the bat, staying alive with a 2-2. Runner on second after the stolen base for Johnson. Still just the 1 out in the inning. Again, we're seeing West a very defensive swing. One of the reasons that made him so successful at UCLA was his ability to foul pitches off. Didn't really strike out a whole lot. Another reason he was in that leadoff spot.
And his discipline was what really stuck out this past season. Almost a program record. He was up to 48 walks at one point, Ben.
And this at bat keeps showing you why. It's a 2-2 count, but pitch number 8 of the AB is coming up from Markham. Most impressive part about it, too, he was in the leadoff spot, still able to have 41 runs batted in. This grounder right at Carl Schmidt will get the runner over to third base, but Schmidt another play to Kent Schmidt. Another 4-3 put out. Runner moves to third base, 2 outs in the inning. Markham trying to give the Commodores their first scoreless frame in the first 4 innings. Well, I'll have to do it against one of the suffer Cotuit bats and Ryan Farber. 4 is the largest comeback for Falmouth this year, so they do have the ability. Anything more than this seems decently out of reach, especially with how the offense is doing and how it's been struggling at this point. Farber 1 for 2 with a ground out and a single. Change up low. He started off 2-0. Making the change from Texas State to Auburn this upcoming season. Just a 267 batting average this last year, and 17 of his starts as a designated hitter. This one off the end of the bat sends Brumbaugh back. Initially went up, but makes the late adjustment to retire the side. So Cotuit gets another man on base on the walk to Camden Johnson, with the first scoreless frame for Falmouth pitching, heading to the bottom of the fourth. Still 4-0 on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Cape Space, Cape Cod 5, Cisco Brewers, Cape Cod Healthcare, Hampton Inn, Franklin Sports, Highline Cruises, Jersey Mike's, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Hi, I'm Jackson Minesco from Ocean City, New Jersey, and I want to give a quick shout out to my mom.
Bottom of the fourth inning from Gov Fuller Field, which means it's now time for some Doors trivia. Here is tonight's question. Before Antonio Morales on Saturday, who was the last Commodore to win All-Star Game MVP? A. Travis Pizzana, B. A.J. Pollock, C. Gavin Turley, D. Alec Boehm. All 4 very good options. Not surprised to see any of those 4 named All-Stars. I'm not going to go the recent in Turley. Alec Boehm, it seems like, is an answer for all of them.
Maybe. Travis was here for the whole season, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm going to say Travis Pizzana.
Yeah, that's
my answer.
Yeah.
No, I stole it. You can't pick that one.
What?
Ken Schmidt to lead things off for the bottom of the fourth. And another reminder, you can play along at home by tweeting your answer and including the hashtag Doors Trivia. Hashtag Doors Trivia. Stay tuned for the answer in the top of the 5th inning. You guys can have the same answer as me, just not my color commentator, Andrew.
That's true.
Unless you really want to. Schmidt now 0 for 1 after a ground out to second. Back in the second inning. Just 2 base hits for Falmouth. That one down the left field line, and a diving play, and left Dean West stretching out to make the play. Showing out in left field. West covering a lot of ground and stealing a base hit from Ken Schmidt.
I mean, he was diving to his east, but West still makes a tremendous play. Full extension on that grab. That was highway robbery.
That was a really nice catch from West. And we got SportsCenter here on the Cape today, and then we got a SportsCenter Top 10 worthy play in left field.
50 states in 50 days. They're out in Chatham today for the Gateman. Yep. Molly McGrath hosting that one.
And Cape League TV's own Hudson Riley had a chance to talk to Molly McGrath before the Chatham broadcast as well, the Chatham Anglers broadcaster. Now it's Osterhaus with a 2-ball, no-strike count. Still looking for his first official at-bat. He was hit by a pitch back in the second inning. I do beg your pardon. It's 3 base hits for Falmouth so far, not 2. Osterhaus fouls it off. They had 3, all 3 of them in the third inning. Caden Brumbaugh, Antonio Morales, and Adrian Lopez. Change up, a bit below the knees. Osterhaus, another guy who's starting to get that batting average up a little bit. It's sitting at 270 after it feels like it's been the 240, 250 range for most of the year. 1 for 4 day yesterday. Didn't do much for it. Change up at the knees. Osterhaus doesn't like the call. But a big payoff pitch incoming from Buckler, who's still just at 40 pitches so far today. Chopper to the right side of the infield. Awkward bounce for Sanderson to pick up, but he makes the play anyway. And he'll step on first base for the second out. Solid.
You nailed it on that bounce there.
Yeah.
Where Sanderson was not expecting that one to kind of reach the ground as quickly as it did. He had to put his glove down pretty quickly.
A couple of solid defensive plays for Cotuit. One, I'd say more than solid, spectacular in left field. But 2 early gone in the bottom of the 4th for Carl Schmidt at the plate. Called strike on the outer part. Nobody on base for Schmidt. The ground out to third his last time up. That might have been a double play if Justin Osterhaus wasn't taking off for second base. It was the first pitch of the at-bat that Schmidt saw. This one runs inside 1-1. And the Cotuit dugout not too happy. Of course, last time the Commodores and Kettleers played, it was Lauren Hibbs, the Kettleers manager, that got ejected in that game back at Lowell Park a couple of weeks ago. Osterhaus high in the air to left. Another long run for West. This time can't make the play. Drops in front of him. 2-out single for Osterhaus, or for Schmidt rather, his first base hit of the day.
Schmidt, Raleigh was running down the first base line. Wanted to watch that the whole way to make sure West didn't make another incredible grab.
Commodores trying to have a little 2-out magic of their own. 3 of their 4 base hits today have come with 2 outs. Now it's the lefty Mason Eckelman. First to throw over first from Buckler. Interested to see how long they want to ride Buckler. And this is 4th start of the season and just 15 2/3 if you add on the 5 relief appearances for him. But back-to-back throwovers first before Carl Schmidt. I've stolen a decent amount of bases this year. And his 3 throwovers before the first pitch. And for good reason, keeping an eye on Schmidt. He's stolen 6 bases this year. He is 6 for 7 in his attempts. First pitch fouled off for Uckman. I think there might be a good chance that this is it for Buckler after this inning. Getting to pitch 46. If he has a longer leash, it's out of this and another pitch. It's not going to go 6 or 7 innings, but might go 5.
He's wasting all of his good arms right now on Schmidt over at first.
That is 4 pickoff attempts now in just 1 pitch. Comes home with the 0-1. It is upstairs. Ohio State just 3 Big Ten wins this past year out of 24 attempts. They went 3-21. Down the left field line on foul. Funny enough, though, 2 of those wins came against Big Ten regular season champion and ultimately one of the top 16 teams in the country hosting Oregon. They got the series win over the Ducks.
How? That's like when A&M got swept by Missouri.
Missouri had 3 wins this past year of the SEC. All of them were against a team who was hot at the time, and Texas A&M trying to get to the right side of the bubble.
Too.
Yeah. And that completely wiped Texas A&M off the bubble.
Yeah.
They had a couple of wins in the SEC tournament, but it wasn't enough. Got a 1-2 count on Ohio State's Eckelman. Foul ball.
Ohio State just owned Oregon in everything this year, it seemed like.
They must have, yeah. They split in football, but definitely the more important one went to the Buckeyes. Swing and a miss. Dialed it up on the 1-2 and blew a fastball by Eckelman. Another 2-out base hit for Falmouth. At another time, they can't get him across. Through 4, Cotuit up 4. 4-0. They're blanking the Commodores as we head to the 5th on Cape League TV.
There's a 0 chance that you'll want to miss our 0% for 72 months offer. For a limited time, CAD is offering 0% on the purchase of many new small excavators. That's 0% for better performance, 0% for next generation features.
Great machine. It's quite impressive.
0% for work tools too. But there's a 0% chance this offer will last. So contact Milton Cap before there's 0 time left.
David McCann from Fairfield, Connecticut, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my parents.
Down by 4, the Falmouth Commodores will have P.J. Rogan to the mound. Another Commodore making his first appearance. And elephant of the room, the ambidextrous switch pitcher we've talked about. Doors trivia answer. Again, before Antonio Morales on Saturday, who was the last Commodore to win All-Star Game MVP. And I was correct. It's Travis Bazzana.
We were correct.
I was correct. I told you could not copy
correct.
me. It was 2023. Also won the league MVP. So good sign for Morales if he can heat up in these last 12 games or so. It's 2 times in 3 years the West Division All-Star MVP has gone to Falmouth. Rogan at Sacred Heart this past season in ERA sub-4. He'll make his first appearance for Falmouth today. Been a couple of years at Sacred Heart now. We'll face a Cotuit lineup that has had their way with Falmouth pitching. 5 base hits for him so far in the middle third of the lineup. Caden Bogenpole will lead things off against him.
The center fielder from Missouri State for Cotuit, number 19, Caden Bogenpole.
Bogenpole's reached both times so far, an RBI double to get the scoring started in the first inning. He walked back into third. Swing and a miss. For the Missouri State center fielder. Rising junior from Jackson, Missouri. Fastball right down the middle. Bogenpole made a name for himself very early in his college career. He was named a first-team freshman All-American back in 2024. Before his numbers took a little bit of a hit this past year, but he's been the leadoff hitter for back-to-back seasons. Change up outside and in the dirt. He also set the school record with 55 walks in a single season. That was in his sophomore year. 55 walks, also ranked 15th nationally in all of college baseball. Stays alive with a 2-2 count. Rogan had a lot of appearances this past sophomore season, an ERA just below 4, 5 decisions and a 4-1 record. All 21 appearances were in relief, to add up to a total of 43 innings pitched. He just left it outside to run full now on Bogenpole. Payoff pitch, check swing, did not go. The second walk in as many plate appearances for Caden Bokenpol. That's now the first batter ends for P.J. Rogan. Talked about the interesting story for Rogan so far. The third member of our crew, Ryan Martin's got a little more on that switch pitcher.
Yeah, Ben, interesting story. As you see, you pitched left-handed to Bogenpole. Now he goes right-handed to Natilli. That's because P.J. Rogan has a custom-made six-fingered Rawlings glove. You see here at Sacred Heart, he can pitch with his left, pitch with his right to a sub-4 ERA for the Pioneers. It all started, Ben, when he was using a tennis ball with his dad, Pat. They were at home. He was only 2 years old, but they realized that PJ could be ambidextrous, so they started pitching him competitively with both hands since the age of 7. You can see right there, he uses the pitch column on his glove. You can't put it on a wrist if you're going to throw with both hands. A super interesting story for the Sacred Heart Pioneer.
Thank you so much, Ryan. He starts the 5-hitter Jack Natilli off 0-2. And you know what? Maybe I'm a little upset at my dad that he didn't get me started throwing with both right and left-handed.
I don't think it really would have mattered,
old.
Ben, to be honest.
Hey, who knows? Oh, 2 grounded right at Adrian Lopez. Throw to second in time. Going to be a close play at first. 6-4-3 double play. Leadoff walk eliminated after Jack Natilli bounces into a double play. Calm, cool, and collected from Adrian Lopez at short. Helping P.J. Rogan out a little bit.
Much cleaner turn this time around by Lopez. Wait for that baseball to come to him. So that went a little bit easier. And I think the cool thing, too, about Rogan is that before the at-bat, he has to signal what hand he's going to throw with against the hitter.
Well, that's always at least when I started hearing about this story, the first question that came into my mind was, all right, what happens if there's a switch hitter versus a switch hitter? Who gets the last say?
Well, Ryan Farber is a switch hitter,
yeah.
So let's see if it gets to him.
Well, it won't in this inning if Schmidt can make the play over to first, and he will. 4-3 put out, 1-2-3 inning after a leadoff walk, then a double play. Couple of balls kept on the ground, heading to the bottom of the 5th inning, but halfway home, it is still Cotuit in control, 4-0. Heading to the bottom of the 5th, Andrew Delapiana's got the play-by-play on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Enjoy all the action of the Cape Cod Baseball League by downloading the Cape League TV app on your mobile device and favorite TV streaming platform. You can now watch indoors on your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TV. Cape League TV provides live and on-demand coverage of all games and feature content for the nation's best summer collegiate baseball league. Get in the game with Cape League TV. Look at our tremendous videographers around Gov Fuller Field, providing you all the great shots that you see here tonight and all season long. Kettleers in control 4-0 as we've hit the halfway point of this ball game. Ryan Buckler still out there for Cotuit, facing 8-9-1 of the Commodores lineup. Starting with Caden Brumbaugh, who rolls over a backhanded stab by Johnson. Can't corral it. It's past him, and the leadoff man reaches for the Commodores.
Yeah, I don't think Johnson would have had a chance to come back and make a play after that hit the ground, but I think didn't even get there because he thought he had it in his glove. Trying to make the throw over to third base, and the ball wasn't there in his glove.
Back-to-back infield singles for Bromba in his first 2 plate appearances on Cape Cod, and how about both going to Johnson as well over at third?
Well, that was almost a beautiful play by Johnson. I could have got that throw over too, but no catch. I didn't have a chance.
Leadoff man reaches for the second time in the ball game for Falmouth. Buckler has allowed 4 hits entering this frame, that being the 5th for the Commodores. Big number though, no earned runs, no walks allowed either. Here's Chris Newstrom, takes a slider on the outer third.
Well, Buckler doesn't walk batters. It's the first thing we talked about at the very beginning of the broadcast in the bottom of the first, was just that 2 walks and his 14 innings pitched coming into this game.
A sub-2 ERA for the Florida Atlantic Owl. Chris Newstrom, his second time up, ran it into a double play in the third. Runner from first takes off. It's a called strike. Throw down a second. Not in time. Great jump by Bromba.
Yeah, Brumball's just doing a little bit of everything for Falmouth. Made a late adjustments on the defensive side and left. Now a couple of base hits to the steal. It's a pretty good debut for the Commodores.
Puts a runner in scoring position for Newstrom. Down the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Goes back to the slider, and he went around to home plate umpire Aaron Brown. 3rd strikeout, and out number 1 in the bottom of the 5th.
Continues the frustrating year offensively for Newstrom. That's when he got frustrated with the umpire. Didn't think he went around. That was close, but still not one I really expect the home plate umpire to make.
And here comes pitching coach Tim O'Connor. Out to Buckley. You hit the nail on the head last inning when you said maybe 1 or 2 more if he got past Eckelman. Might be just a quick mound visit. Don't see anyone emerging from the Kettleers bullpen out in left field just yet. I think too, Ben, when you get through this second time in the order and you start to see it for third, as Buckler going to stay on, things start to get a little bit easier for the hitters, if you will, now seeing him for a 3rd time.
Yeah, that's interesting. Usually when a pitcher is doing well and there's a visit on the mound, it's because it's a pitching change and because he's just reaching his pitch count. We rarely see a mound meeting after a strikeout like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just a message for the 3rd time through the lineup.
55 pitches for Buckler. 36 of them have been in the strike zone. Here's Antonio Morales, who slaps one the other way, just foul. Hits are even between these 2 teams at 5 apiece, but the big looming number for Falmouth has been the 3 errors.
And it seems like that's just been a story, not every game, but feels like kind of every other game dating back a couple of weeks ago.
Morales puts a charge into this one into right field. Stevens racing back over his head, and 1 hops the fence. Morales on his horse to second. Bromball around third. He'll score with ease. Morales diving to third. He's got an RBI triple. First run of the ball game for the Commodores is an emphatic one. And Falmouth has made it a 3-run game off the second triple of the summer for Antonio Morales.
It's just the fundamentals for Morales. Everything about this at-bat I love. And obviously, hasn't showcased a ton of power on the season, but his first chance there. And from the second the bat hits the ground after he drops it, he is sprinting. It almost feels like, Brumbaugh started the at-bat at second base. I almost feel like Morales almost got up to Brumbaugh at a certain point. Easy slide to third.
He was diving at third by the time Brumbaugh crossed home plate,
yeah.
So that kind of tells you all you need to know. Is that the spark the Commodores were looking for offensively? Coming for the leadoff guy in Morales. Corners in for the Kettleers. 0-1 to Adrian Lopez. Goes back to that slider.
Oh, and here's an at-bat that maybe can even boost your confidence even more if you're Lopez after the struggles. Got a single at the third, but with the runner on third base, you don't need to do anything crazy to get the run in. Sometimes, though, getting that RBI to your name will help your confidence.
Lopez chopper to the shortstop Matthews. This will score the run, and he makes the play over to first, but Lopez does the job and gets Morales in to score. And just like that, the Commodores have cut this lead in half. It's a 2-run ball game.
We've seen just a couple of games this year where Falmouth does really put up a good fight. But, Andrew, the last one that comes to mind in that fact and in that category is the game last time Falmouth played Cotuit. Back at Lowell Park, Commodores were down 4-0 at 6-3 at 2 different times, but they came back and won that game.
2 gone for Mike Anu. And Buckler starts him off with a strike. New is 0 for 2 with a strikeout in the third. Has been an elite player on Cape Cod with the most home runs, most extra base hits as well. Swing and a miss in the dirt.
Well, he has been swinging at everything ever since he came back from that 4 or 5 game break.
Those strikeout numbers have ticked up just a little bit since coming back from putting his name in the draft, not getting selected. Up to 30 strikeouts now on the summer. That's top 5 on Cape Cod. 1-2 way outside for Buckler. And that's kind of the seesaw, if you will, Ben, of hitting for average, hitting for power, but also the strikeout does come in once in a while, maybe a little bit more so than often than New would like. There is that strikeout on the slider tailing outside for out number 3. But a big hit for Antonio Morales, an RBI triple. Then follow that up with an RBI groundout for Lopez, and the Commodores are right back in it, trailing 4-2 after 5 from Gulf Fuller Field.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Commodores have made this a ball game, a 2-spot in the bottom of the 5th, as Cotuit up 4-2 as we enter the top of the 6th. Back alongside my partner Ben Haller, I'm Andrew Del Piano, 7, 8, 9 to lead things off for the Kettleers in this frame, with PJ Rogan still on the bump for the Commodores. Switch pitcher that saw a little bit of both in that last inning of work.
It's almost mesmerizing in a way.
It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Seamless it is with both arms. Especially if you've tried to pitch with either of your arms and seeing that he does it better than you with both.
I think the coolest thing that Brian even talked about was the 6-finger glove, where, again, you can just flip it over and it works both ways.
I'm trying to think how that would work. Like in my head, putting my hand in that.
It's a fun little thing to think about, though.
I'm going to have to ask him before one of these games in BP if we can try it on.
Looking to make a good first impression here on Cape Cod. Wrapping up a couple of seasons at Sacred Heart.
I'll also have this random question too. Rogan's pitched just one full inning so far, 1+. Can't see it from this angle. I don't know how he already has a rip in his pants on the left side, on the left hip. I don't know how that already is.
And the pants are all muddy too. Called strike 3 on Matthews. He's down. Yep, you can see it right there, Ben.
Back on the back thigh.
That's got to be someone else's pants, right? He can't get it that muddy on day one.
I'll tell you what, that's a tough task for the equipment crew when you have 5 new players coming in about
really
yesterday.
Tough turnaround. Has there been a 29 this season? Well, it wouldn't go along with the pants, but.
My first thought is Michael Gillen?
I think he was 23.
What was Zach Johnson? He was 30?
25.
25. Wow, I'm off. You know numbers way better than me.
Went out for Case Sanderson. He struck out his last time up as well. For this lefty on lefty. You had that question earlier about switch hitter versus switch pitcher. We got the answer for you. So before the at-bat, the pitcher must indicate what hand he's throwing with. And then, of course, the hitter can make the decision as accordingly. Maybe see with Ryan Farber, who's in the 3 spot of today's game. He's about 4 or 5 batters away.
So the only time a switch pitcher does not have an advantage in handedness would be against a switch hitter, and a switch hitter always has the advantage.
Well, they can switch if they get injured, but they cannot switch mid at bat though. But
How
batter
easy is
can.
it to fake an injury? I mean, what happens?
I don't know if you'd be faking an injury out there just to get. Actually, that's not the wildest thing.
Look, if you're in the bottom of the ninth, though, two outs, game tying run situation.
Terrible idea. Hitters count to Sanderson. He tags it out to left field. Rumbaugh a couple steps to his right and pulls it in for out number 2. That'd be a fun little mind game, though, if you're just the pitcher and you're, before stepping on the bump, am I going to go right, left? And no, that's not how that works.
What if you just put the glove on the ground before the pitch?
Make you decide first.
That's a balk, but yeah.
Not the case here with the lefty Luke Lavin, who is in the 9th spot tonight for the Kettleers. 0 for 1, a ground out in the 4th. A California native staying home at Stanford. He's only got 1 extra base hit so far on the summer. Was a mid-season addition for the Kets. Swing and a miss way out in front of the breaking ball. Rogan looking for a 1-2-3 frame. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Drop third strike. Eckelman fires it down to first, maybe a little too tall for Schmidt, but it doesn't matter as he makes the play over at first. Through 5.5 here from Gulf Fuller Field. Cotuit losing momentum just a little bit. Commodores trailing 4-2 right here on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: 99 Restaurants, Badger Sports, the Baldwin Group, Bluebird Dennisport, Bridgewater State University, Cape Destinations.
Bottom 6 from Gulf Fuller Field. Commodores trailing 4-2. Ryan Martin is field side about an interesting NIL deal for one of the catchers for the Commodores in Eddie Yaman. Ryan?
Yeah, Andrew, it's one of the newest catchers in Yaman, the national champion at LSU. He's got to deal with junk brands. Look at all these headbands that Junk Brand sends us, including this one. This is my favorite, calling them their lucky ducks for Yaman. He's worn them for 8 games between at LSU and here at the Commodores. His teams are 8-0, and that's happened so far. So Yaman's looked great in that, and I think you guys are looking pretty great up in the booth, thanks to Yaman as well, Andrew and Ben.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. I mean, you know, it seems pretty cool on the field, but at the same time, like, they're pretty stylish. I understand what he's talking about.
Look, Eddie's got some pretty cool headbands that
you
Ryan
got a
showed off.
one on your head. That's phenomenal.
Our headbands are better, though. I don't know. We definitely did not get these from Eddie. These are just our personal headbands, especially your Omaha LSU headband.
That's pretty cool.
That's just one I think you just had and laying in your closet.
It was
today,
in my
right?
back pocket. Saw it. Took it to work today. That'd be fun to wear. But
I guess Eddie knew I like donuts, though, so he did lend me this donuts headband.
4-2 Falmouth trails bottom 6. Kent Schmidt to lead things off. Commodores with the 2 spot in the bottom of the 5th. 6 hits as a team. New pitcher on the mound for the Kettleers. Tyler Albanese gets the baseball. Albany is the rising junior from San Diego State, making his team-leading 10th appearance of the season. 3 ERA, has allowed just 6 earned runs in 18 innings in relief. Schmidt over 2 in this one with a line out to left field. That incredible play by Dean West a little bit earlier in this ball game. Rob Schmidt of a base hit. McKen is continuing to make pretty good contact on the baseball.
Yeah. Well, he's starting to figure it out, and I think that, again, it's been impressive, too, to just let him figure it out. Still hitting in this cleanup spot pretty much the whole time and the whole season. He thrives in that spot. Second on the team in RBIs.
Pokes this one into left center field. West has a beat on it. That catch a little bit easier this time around. No diving effort needed for the first out.
Yeah, Dean West thinking, Ken Schmidt, that play is a little easier to make. Maybe he doesn't have to get his uniform as dirty as he did the first time Ken Schmidt was up.
One gone for Justin Osterhaus, who was a hit by pitch victim back in that second, just to the right of his right kneecap. Got down to first okay, and he hammers this one into right center field. Stevens, a couple steps in front of the track, makes the play just to his right for that second out. That was well struck off the bat.
There's been a lot of outs today for Falmouth that have been well struck off the bat. And that's the frustrating part of it. Even on top of that, still out hitting Cotuit to this point. Again, if you ask me the difference in this game so far, you'd have to point to the 3 errors.
2 of them against the catcher Eckelman on throws down to third. 2 runs coming across via those errors. The offense has to pick it up. Did so making a little bit of noise in that 5th frame. 2 of the better offensive teams run-wise on Cape Cod, just averaging shy of about 5 runs per game. Called strike to Carl Schmidt. Reached on a single back in the 4th. Breaking ball way out in front. Only 70 miles per hour from Albanese.
It's a very different look, too, for Albany's than you saw earlier. Let's get that change up that can really slow it down. Buckler brought the heat a little more with more fastball dense.
Goes back to that breaking ball. Sent to the second baseman, Farber. Easy play. And it's 1-2-3 on the other side for Tyler Albanese and the Kettleers. Final third of the ball game coming up. Kettleers 4, Commodores 2, right here on Cape League TV. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Hi, I'm Zach Johnston from Cumberland, Maine. I'd like to give a special shout out to my host parents, Paula and John, for being great people.
Top 7 from Gulf Fuller Field, Homer's Dance Party. We could be out there joining him. Have a lot of fun out there. He's bopping, he's weaving, bop, bop. Commodores need that energy here for the rest of this ball game, trailing by 2.
You like that song, Watch Me Whip?
That's what it was. I couldn't think of the name of it. That's a classic 2016 song for you, right?
Something like that. Back when times were a lot easier. Whip, the nay-nay, some of the best dance moves. Oh,
Gotta have some fun, right? Okay.
Well, you need to be down there with Homer. I mean, there's nobody else really dancing with Homer today.
Feels left out. He's got tears in his eyes going back to home plate. That's all right. Gets in front of the Commodores 4-2 in the top of the 7th. For a little bit of insurance. That 4-run lead was piled up early through 3 innings, but Falmouth crawling their way back just a little bit. Getting some good innings of relief too, Ben, from P.J. Rogan. He's out there for inning number 3. Top of the lineup for Cotuit in Camden Johnson, who has reached 2 of his 3 plate appearances. Transfer out of Wichita State, heading to Oklahoma.
This is where the test starts to begin a little bit. For Rogan get to the top of the lineup now.
Slider misses a little bit high. Johnson picking up his 32nd hit of the summer. Trying to claim first place in that category, but his team had down the line in Farber has him by just 1 more right now. That won't help out his case, but that'll increase the on-base percentage with the leadoff walk.
The left fielder for Cotuit from UCLA, number 36, Dean West.
Third time reaching for Camden Johnson, also had a stolen base in the 4th after that leadoff walk. The lefty in the lineup for Dean West. Check over at first. Johnson, plenty of speed. 13 stolen bases this summer.
Yeah, these are the best situations for Rogan, too. He can choose the left side. Easier for pickoff moves while facing lefty on base.
Didn't even think about that as well. You think that's something maybe he goes into, is having a runner on, but also worrying about the guy at home plate?
I think it's just depending on who's on home plate to make the decisions, but obviously it's nice every time that it works out that way.
Newstrom over at third. Corners were in protecting that bunt from West.
Jacob Schultz warming in the Falmouth bullpen right now.
stacked good appearances of this bullpen. Newstrom remains with his toes on the infield grass. Another check back at first. Meeting number 4 between these two teams. Falmouth taking 2 of the first 3. West tries to bunt, pulls it back. 3 balls, no strikes. We'll meet one more time in the regular season finale back here at the Gov on August 3rd. Can't even imagine the playoff scenarios that will be happening on that day with how clumped up this West Division is. Way inside. It's a 4-pitch walk, and Rogan has let the first 2 by the wayside.
Yeah, he's done on 8 pitches too, and that's where you start to see maybe a meeting from Todd Carroll. Doesn't look like it. It's going to be the infield to come talk to him, though. Again, gives time to Jacob Schultz to warm. Actually, I think this is an offensive meeting called by Lauren Hibbs. He's talking with Ryan Farber, his 3-hitter right now. I think he came out first that let Falmouth have a discussion on the infield.
So Hibbs makes his way back to his dugout, and here's that switch hitter on switch pitcher matchup we were looking forward to with Farber.
Yeah.
So Rogan elects to go to the right side, and that allows Farber to roam into the lefty's batter's box.
My next question is, in an at-bat by at-bat thing, or can you change in the middle of an at-bat after a pitch?
Well, the hitter can change as much as they want. The pitcher cannot unless there's that injury.
Okay.
Farber squares the bunt, drops it perfectly in front of home plate. Eckelman going to field it, go to first. And there is out number 1 on a perfect sack.
Look, it's good small ball for Cotuit, no doubt, 2 in scoring position with just the 1 out, but also that's a little nice for the confidence, at least, after throwing 8 straight balls to lead off the inning. If you're Rogan, that's going to be it for him.
So called to the bullpen by Jared Saltalamacchia. Jacob Schultz will be the new reliever for the Commodores. We'll tell you about the left-hander from Vanderbilt after these messages. Runners at 2nd and 3rd for the Kettleers, looking to add to this lead in the 7th.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Justin Osterhaus from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my parents and my brother, Becky and JD Osterhaus and Brady Osterhaus.
Jacob Schultz, the reliever for the Commodores, looking to keep this a 2-run deficit for Falmouth. Inherits runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, but he has been masterful out of the bullpen in his 9 appearances, Ben, with that sub-3 ERA. Just 3 earned runs in 10 and 2/3 innings on the job.
And he's done it with a strikeout. 15 strikeouts in 10 and 2/3. That's averaging about a strikeout and a half per inning. Got into tough situations. His masterpiece is, coming into a little 2nd and 3rd with 1 out jam, which is exactly what he has right now, or some sort of jam and being able to get out of it using that strikeout.
Schultz was an all-star, makes his team leading 10th appearance, and they're going to need that all-star arm. 2 ducks on the base pass for Caden Bogenpole. Infield in for the Commodores. shading a little bit towards the right side of the infield as well. High arching breaking ball. He starts him off with a called strike.
And that's where Schultz makes his money, is that curveball. It starts, it's the most stereotypical 12-6. Starts like it might come out of the zone up high and then ends up right down the middle.
Quickly ahead, 0-2. Those strikeout numbers, as you just mentioned, are the ones that pop off the screen. Would love to deliver that here. Doesn't even pay attention to the runners. 0-2. Up the middle. Tough play through the hole. Johnson in to score. West right behind him. Caden Bogenpole does the job. A soft single through the middle of the infield. And Cotuit back up by 4.
One of those situations where obviously maybe you wish you didn't bring the infield in. Obviously sometimes that's going to happen, but that's just a soft grounder that in a normal situation the second fielder's got without a problem. But don't, take away from Bogenpole doing exactly what he needed to do. He's reached all 4 times now. RBIs number 3, 2 and 3 on the game.
Just did enough to put that ball through no man's land, the middle of the infield, where Schmidt and Lopez were shifted a little bit more to the right side of second base, but you just find a little bit of that opening and it does the trick. And that is a costly blow for the Commodores. Tilly fouls one off a home plate.
That is costly. The 4-0 lead at a certain point of the 4th and 5th inning felt kind of insurmountable for Falmouth, because they were doing nothing offensively until getting 2 back in that 5th. And while they got those 2 runs, the pitching was starting to figure it out a little bit. Just some trouble ran into early at the command for P.J. Rogan.
Those back-to-back walks, both those runs come in. So that goes on Rogan's line. That's the frustrating thing too, Ben, is those 2 earned runs. No hits for him.
Yeah.
In the 3 walks overall. 1-2 to Tilly. Breaking ball bouncer in the dirt.
And he walked the first batter he faced, and then the last 2 batters he faced. Well, not the last 2 batters he faced, got the bunt, but last 2 before the bunt.
It's a long way uphill for the Commodores. With position in the West so tight. Grounded to Lopez at short, flips on to second for 1. The turn is in time. So after the 2-run single by Bogenpole, Tilly rolls one over for the inning-ending double play. But more damage is done with the Kettleers leading 6-2 through 6.5. It's now time for America the Beautiful.
Fans, please welcome back Tommy Sullivan, who will sing America the Beautiful, written by Falmouth's own and U.S. poet and author, Catherine Lee Bates. Tommy, whenever you're ready.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good in brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again for Tommy Sullivan. That was truly beautiful. Thank you, Tommy.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway, and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom of the 7 here from Gov Fuller Field. Let's take a look at how we got to this point in the ball game with the Cats in front 6-2. Gade Bojapol has been the difference in this one with 3 RBIs. RBI double. First time up, just poked a 2-run single into center field to give Cotuit a little bit more breathing room as the Commodores really need to strike fast and quick, Ben.
They do, and the 9 outs to work with. We've seen this team put up some runs late in ball games, but it's been in these situations you got to have pitching to hold them at 6.
Tyler Albany's back out there for Cotuit for his second inning of relief. 7, 8, 9 scheduled to hit. Starting with Mason Eckelman making his Commodores debut. Swing and a miss at the fastball. It has been a kind of a debut to forget, Ben, for him. 2 errors behind home plate, both throwing errors. 0 for 2 at the dish hitting-wise. He's looking to find his form. He's off the fastball above the letters.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one game. Got to watch it. You saw Reese Maroney have a couple of errors in his debut for Falmouth. It's someone you can relate to.
49 starts this past season at Ohio State. Swing and a miss. Out number 1, second strikeout for Eckelman. And that is out number 1 in the bottom of the 7th.
And you're someone who hasn't really had a debut to forget. Rumbaugh more one to remember so far. He's hit 2 hard balls right at Camden Johnson.
Both reaching on those infield singles.
You hear infield single and automatically think, you know, we got lucky, the ball slowed
chopper,
down an infielder, but both of them were hit hard, just stopped at third base by Johnson.
Well, they call that the hot corner for a reason, and Johnson has certainly seen that firsthand today over at third. Rumbaugh will be heading to Oklahoma, his 3rd school in 4 years. Started at Oklahoma State, then transferred to Nebraska, now heading home to Norman. Be interesting to be on both sides of that Oklahoma rivalry.
Yeah. You see it a lot with rival-to-rival transfers now that the transfer portal started to pick up. I just want to ask a player. I mean, it's so wired into you once you get to a school like Oklahoma State that you have to hate Oklahoma.
Correct, yeah.
Even when you leave the school, sometimes I feel like it might just stay with you. It's just a mentality, but then to open up and go there.
I think it's funny, too. Oklahoma isn't even Oklahoma State's biggest rival.
Yeah.
It's Texas. With the Red River Showdown. I think also, too, with the Sooners leaving for the SEC, that kind of makes that a little bit tougher, too, with the Cowboys.
True.
Bouncer in the dirt. Rumbaugh stays alive. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
You honestly wonder if it feels to the rivalry because they left, or if because you're not playing as much anymore, if it takes away from the rivalry. I mean, you saw what happened like Oregon and Oregon State. Oregon State hates Oregon even more now because they left the Pac-12.
Correct. Good take from the newest Sooner. He's got a 1-out walk. It definitely can be one of the downfalls of college rivalries and different teams leaving conferences. Is you lose that annual matchup with that team, and you have to reschedule to make that a non-con game. And of course, you don't want to give up easier games. We're mostly talking football in a sense, where you want to pick up those wins to kind of stack your resume a little bit more.
Conference realignment's gotten crazy.
It really has. Here is Chris Newstrom. Takes a fastball for a called strike on the inner third. He's 0 for 2, grounded into a double play in the third. That average for Newstrom continues to drop. Entered in at 143. Is now down to 138. Rumbaugh the runner on first. One gone, bottom 7. Kettleers 6. Commodores 2. Albany's checks over at first.
Doesn't help either that the playing time starting to get down a bit. I don't know if it hurts confidence more or just the fact that you're not seeing at-bats day in, day out.
He's been more so scattered in and out of that 9 spot. Runner from first takes off. It's a ball high. Throw down a second, one hopped, and Rumbaugh is there. What a day he is having. His second stolen base.
2 steals, 2 base hits for him. He's made a nice play in left field, too.
It's a runner into scoring position. Commodores have the worst average on Cape Cod with runners at second or third, just below the Mendoza line. Breaking ball in there for a called strike.
Yeah, Newstrom, they both kind of go together with how much he's struggling overall at the plate and with runners in scoring position. Just the 5 RBIs for him on the year.
The last one coming last Wednesday, that 12-3 drumming against Brewster. Fastball, swing and a miss. Out number 2. Last chance in the inning. It's Antonio Morales. Albany's going to ask for a new baseball real quick.
Guys, can I get 4 baseballs here? 4?
Morales, the big RBI triple in the 5th. Made it a 3-run game at the time. Then Lopez drove him in to make it a 2-run contest, but Kettleers 2 runs in the top of the 7th to further this lead a little bit more. Morales, who feels like Benny's hitting the ball a lot harder as of late, more so just at players, but for that second triple, you have to put it in such a specific area. Belted it over Stevens' head in right field.
Well, we've discussed how it hasn't worked really keeping the ball in the air for him so far, but that time right there hit it pretty high in the air. It's got enough power behind it. Good exit velocity, though. It can do some damage, obviously.
And usually those outfielders play a little bit closer to the infield because Morales more so a contact hitter. So really caught Stevens by surprise. Great looking breaking ball from Albany's. Mesh that in with a 91-mile-per-hour fastball. It is really tough to time up. Rumbaugh the runner at second, 2 gone, a 1-2 count to Morales. Pitch. Swing and a miss. All 3 outs in this inning for Albany's come via the strikeout. Commodores still coming up empty-handed on offense. Only 6 more outs to work with. Cotuit 6, Falmouth 2 as we go to the 8th here from Gulf Fuller Field on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
What's up? I'm Kent Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Where else would you want to be on a night like this at Gulf Fuller Field? You always see the little orange, the pink in the skies. That is a great look here from one of the gems on Cape Cod here at Gulf Fuller Field. Falmouth trailing 6-2 in the top of the 8th. Big divisional matchup between the Kets and the Doors.
Rivalry matchup too, and the first 3 matchups between these two teams have not disappointed. Should that comeback Falmouth win that ended with some controversy, added a little fuel to the fire for Cotuit back a couple of Fridays ago. The game was called in the middle of the 8th inning, so 7.5 complete. Now Falmouth was the away team, and they were the winning team. They didn't give Cotuit a chance to hit in the bottom of the 8th.
You don't see that a whole lot. Also, too, in that game where Lauren Hibbs gets ejected in the 3rd inning for maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there at the home plate umpire. So the argument's coming from the Kettleers, and the umpires walked right off the field. Home team did not get last at bats in that one. You rarely ever see that.
Now, it's not as crazy the fact that Falmouth didn't score in the top of the 8th, so it didn't end up mattering that Falmouth got to hit in the top of the 8th, but still having more chances to hit.
Very wacky game where this season series between these two teams has been airtight. Just a combined run differential of 4 these first 3 matchups. Kettleers breaking away in this one a little bit, with Nolan Stevens leading things off in this inning to add to that. Players went out to left field. Long run for Brumbaugh and Newstrom. Nobody there in the area. Very important inning here for Jacob Schultz on the bump to maybe create a little bit of momentum on the offensive end for Falmouth. With the heart of the order due up 3-4-5. Breaking ball from Schultz, and sits down Stevens. Almost the exact same pitch that Albanese ended last inning on with the breaking ball.
Yeah, it's not too difficult to see that that's what Jacob Schultz's best pitch is. He's used it a couple times for a strikeout. You can start to see why he was named an all-star. I am interested to see kind of going into the second inning does for him. He's used as a high volume in terms of how many games he's thrown, but not in how many innings throws. Usually a 1 inning guy.
Rarely works into that second frame. Again, there feels like there's a couple arms on the Commodores where you can say that, but with the way Schultz kind of commanded the zone coming out of the bullpen, want to use him a little bit longer. 0-2 count to Luke Matthews.
Yeah, it feels like you can kind of get that MLB setup guy with the closer and Jacob Schultz, Joe Sabat. Both of those are 2 of the 1 inning guys.
And when we asked him about that before the Hyannis game back on Friday, he said he likes having that name to a role, basically, where he sets up in the 8th, Sabat comes in the 9th. Matthews tags one out to right, Morales there. 2 gone.
Yeah, I think it makes it easier, no doubt. I mean, especially on the Cape, compared to college baseball in general, you don't see a whole lot of roles, but Cape Cod especially, when so many guys are in and out and pitch count limits, you do not see a ton of defined roles.
Absolutely
besides maybe
not.
your closer.
They do have one defined role, pitcher, and that's kind of really the only one that's set in stone. 2 gone for Case Sanderson. Quick great looking breaking ball from Schultz.
Almost everyone, too, that has started a game for Falmouth this year has also come in relief in at least one game. Caden Neshman, one of the exceptions I can think of. Grayson Sagne, I don't believe, had a relief appearance.
Maybe had a couple at the beginning of the summer, I believe, then moved to that full-time starter. But it would have been very short appearances for him. Drafted by his hometown team, the Houston Astros. Grew up going to games at Minuteman Park.
Our statistician, Noah Nussbaum, does give us confirmation that he did have. Sagne had one relief appearance.
Smart guy over there to our left.
Think that guy knows baseball?
More than anyone I've ever met.
Spectacular beat writer for the Commodores.
Check out all that great work on falmouthcommodores.com and this beautiful feature done about Kent Schmidt.
I don't think I need to mention where he goes to school. I don't think that's very important.
It's pretty important.
See a lot of Syracuse broadcasters here on the Cape. That's the same for writers.
Schultz looking for a 1-2-3 in this frame. Can he get it? The pitch goes back to the breaking ball. Just getting a piece of it is Sanderson. I mean, the effort you even have to put into that to wave out in front.
Case Sanderson's had some good at-bats today. Still doesn't have a base hit, but even that strikeout of the third inning really forced the issue on Falmouth's first reliever.
Fastball spoils it back. That's been the biggest thing about the Kettleers and their struggles is these at-bats have been very short-lived. We talked about it earlier. The numbers for this team are pretty impressive. Just about top 3 every offensive category. The ERA spectacular as well. But just the untimeliness for the Kets. Into left field. Brumbaugh to the line makes the play. And it's 1-2-3 in the 8th for Schultz. Commodores need some runs, and they need them quick, trailing by 4. To the bottom half of the 8th we go on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway, and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Jacob Schultz from Houston, Texas, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my mom.
Who's that guy in Jacob Schultz who goes 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th. We're going to give his offense a little bit of momentum on this beautiful night here in Falmouth. 2-3-4 scheduled to hit meat and potatoes of the lineup. Tyler Albany still out there for the Kettleers. 3rd inning of relief for him. Rising junior from San Diego State. Falmouth needs offense, and it needs it rather quickly.
The Albany's looked pretty good in that 8th inning, or excuse me, I should say 7th inning. Had to face 4 batters because of a little trouble he ran into a walk, but 3 strikeouts around that walk. Working around the stolen base from Brumbaugh as well. It's impressive.
Adrian Lopez to lead things off for the Commodores. 1 for 3 in this one with an RBI in the 5th. That was the 2nd and the last run of the game for Falmouth. It's even at 6 apiece. But the 3 errors by the Commodores have been the biggest difference maker. Lopez down 0-2. Strikeout bug has really bit him in the last couple of games. 0 for 5 with 5 Ks on Friday. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts last night. Doesn't have one tonight. Looking to keep that intact. Here's the 0-2. Spoils it back. Action for the Commodores in the bullpen. It's the lefty in Grant Meir from Johns Hopkins. To Lopez. Called strike 3 on the outer third. And Lopez can only stand in disbelief. The backwards K to get things going in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, how about this from Albany's last 4 outs recorded are all strikeouts. They didn't have any of them. The first inning he came in back in the 6th, but it was a quick 1-2-3, fly out, ground out.
And not a major strikeout guy either. Just had 14 in 18 innings entering this one.
Might tell you more about the struggle for Falmouth today on the offensive side.
Yep. Over 3, Mike Anu in this one. Pair of strikeouts. The league's leader in a number of offensive categories. Really good spot on the breaking ball by Albany's. Is ahead in the count, 0-2 once more. How about this for New though, Ben? In the 7th inning or later, Mike Anu is hitting 370. And spot here to increase that.
Yeah.
Goes to that same spot, just a little different result.
Well, so this is game number 4 for him back from his little break to go for the MLB draft. It's been 3 rough games, including this one, sandwiched behind that awesome day against Hyannis back on Friday, where he had 3 base hits, including a 2 RBI double, another double.
Players it down the first base line out.
They caught it! Oh, he caught it.
Called strike 3. New is down with a backwards K as well. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts in this inning for Albany's. He sat him down both. And just like that, there's 2 gone. Take a look at the road ahead for the Commodores after this one. It's hard to believe that is the remaining 9 games after this one, Ben, after this one is over. Off day tomorrow, off to Bourne on Thursday. And then plenty of stretches next week. 6 straight games. That'll tie the longest stretch of the season without an off day. It is a race to the finish line from this point on.
Falmouth's got a lot of work to do, too. Down to their last 4 outs of this ball game. If they can't come back in the last 4 innings, Cotuit won't quite catch them yet. They'll still be down by 1 point.
No balls, 2 strikes to Schmidt. Every at batter in this frame has seen that count.
Yeah.
Schmidt has been out basically through every virtue, put the strikeout, ground out, line out, fly out.
Well, it's almost simple from Albany's on the mound. When you get ahead of the count, you really get the hitter off guard, off balance.
Even for a guy like Kent Schmidt, who doesn't strike out a whole lot. 3rd lowest rate in the league, at only around 10%. Albany's takes a deep breath, shakes off Lavin a couple times. From the stretch, 0-2, just outside. Justin Osterhaus waiting on deck. Commodores just something. Get the offense going, trailing by 4. Inside, nearly hit Schmidt. Good time to take some scores around the nation. Right around Cape Cod, I should say. Harwich in front of Hyannis, 6-1, bottom 7. Brewster, the short lead on Orleans, 3-2, bottom 6. And the Gatemen in front of the Anglers, 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Schmidt rolls it over, first base side. Albanese picks it up, flips on to first. Another 1-2-3 frame for Tyler Albanese as we go to the 9th. Cotuit up by 4, looking to close up shop here against the Commodores.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Ben Royo, shortstop from Texas A&M, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
New pitcher on the bump for Falmouth, trailing 6-2 in the top of the 9th. Grant Meir gets the baseball for Jared Saltalamacchia, making his 3rd appearance on Cape Cod. Had a tough first appearance against Wareham, where he allowed 2 hits, 2 walks in 1 2/3. Then also got an appearance against Hyannis. Also struggled in that one as well, where that was the ball game. The Harbor Hawks trailed by 3 going to the bottom of the 8th. They put up 3 runs, go ahead 6-5 to take that ball game. 9-1-2 up for the Kettleers.
It's big. I like this spot for Mir too. It's not the biggest high leverage situation, but you can trust Mir a little bit. Still a decent leverage in this to try to keep the game close. But he's still trying to just get to that get right point in the year for him. Only making his 2nd or 3rd appearance. And running us in trouble last time.
Wafted into left center field. New converges, drops in front of Brumbaugh. No, he hauled it in. A sliding effort. A nice play for out number 1.
Brumbaugh's just doing everything today, isn't he?
Left field has been busy today, whether it's Dean West or Gabe Brumbaugh. Nice basket catch at the end there. Top of the lineup for the Kets.
Andrew, I don't think I can watch a Falmouth Kettleers game without bringing up the story of why the Cotuit Kettleers are called the Kettleers. It's one of my favorite stories.
It's a cool one.
History lessons on the Cape. It was more than 300 years ago, according to a legend. The Indians bartered with early settlers for the land on which the villages of Cotuit and Santuit now stand. The terms for the sale: a brass kettle and a hoe thrown in for good measure. Thus, the Cotuit baseball's team nickname, the Kettleers, was derived from the early real estate transaction.
That is a cool story.
Of course, that story was from Ed Samprini, former sports editor of the Cape Cod Standard-Times. And he coined the Kettleers name. It is covered to the Cape Cod League games all the way back to 1940, so that's a name that dates back over 80 years now.
That is some cool stuff. It's our part of the history, the prestige here on Cape Cod that makes this place so much fun. Kettleers have been probably the most successful team on Cape Cod. 17 championships when you go to Lowell Park, which has been there since 1947. You see the plaques that are outside wrapped around the ballpark from third base over to first base.
Yeah.
And there is a whole lot of them.
They cover a lot of ground. It's like the whole field looks like.
Yes. Swing and a miss for strike 3. And Grant Meir has out number 2.
Again, the get-right appearance for Grant Meir. The whip over 2 now after that rough appearance at just 3 2/3. And the ERA over 7. And really, the biggest issue was just the walks. He walked 3 batters, struck out 3 total in his first 2 appearances.
2 gone, top 9 for Dean West. Meir starts him out with a first pitch strike. One ball, 1 strike to West. Reached on a walk in the 7th. Came around to score thanks to that 2-run single by Bogenpol. In the dirt. A reminder that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited. 2-1 count to Dean West. 2 gone, top 9. Cotuit 6, Falmouth 2. West pops it up sky high, right side of the infield. Schmidt calls everyone off and makes the play for out number 3. That's how many the Commodores have to work with as we go to the bottom of the 9th. 4 to tie, 5 to walk things off here from Gulf Fuller Field. Can the Commodores pull it off? We'll have to wait and see right here on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
What's up? I'm Kent Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Last chance for Falmouth, trailing 6-2 against the Cotuit Kettleers. Cats trying to even up this season series at 2 games apiece. One final meeting between these two teams in the regular season finale on August 3rd. And of course, being in the same division, these 5 matchups, oh so important. Margin of error in the West Division is razor thin. 4th inning on the job for Tyler Albanese. He has been sensational in his 3 innings of work. No hits, 5 strikeouts. Justin Osterhaus to lead things off. It's been that breaking ball he starts him off with that has been so effective in this one.
Falmouth can't come back. The Cotuit will get a couple of points, get within 1 of both Falmouth and Hyannis, assuming Hyannis loses 2. They're also down 6-2. They're in the 8th inning at McKeon Park. But Bourne gets the 1 point on the Tide today. They move by themselves into 2nd place with 28 points. And the Wareham Gatemen are on their way to picking up win number 16 on the year.
Osterhaus crushes one into right. Stevens shades over, makes the play.
They got 4 innings to work with, though. They're up by 4 against Chatham in Chatham.
Osterhouse well struck off the bat. Right at Stevens. Loud applause for Carl Schmidt coming up. His family in attendance here in Falmouth over the last week.
Wareham can move into a couple games in first place, too, in front of Bourne with that win to 32 points. Bourne, again, sitting at second and alone with 28. That would make it 9 of the last 10 for the Gatemen, too. Unreal stretch.
Point in the season earlier, just about 2 weeks ago, 7-13, last place in the West. Didn't even look like they had a chance to even be in the conversation for the postseason. Now leading the division, not comfortably, but just now have 2 games ahead of a 500 record. It has been an unbelievable transition for Ryan Smythe's group.
Their offense has just taken off.
Yeah. Been some nice new faces in that locker room to really catapult that offense. You think of a guy like Caden McDonald, who's been there the whole season. Drew Rogers comes over from Brewster. Swing and a miss by Schmidt. Strikeout number 6 for Tyler Albanese. And Cotuit 1 out away from victory.
Yeah, Albanese is dialed in. This has been his best appearance so far on the Cape, but it's because of how long he's been doing this. Cotuit's going to exit this game getting this last out with Bear Harrison pinch hitting. If they can get that last out, just using 2 guys, 5 innings from Buckler, 4 from Albanese.
Last chance for the Commodores. They elect to use a pinch hitter in Bear Harrison. Two for 4 effort last night with a home run. He belts one into right center field. Stevens a couple steps over and he makes the play for out number 3. And that is the ball game. Cotuit snaps a 4-game losing streak with a 6-2 victory over Falmouth tonight. The Commodores, 3 games below 500. Postseason race only heating up, but a lot of early miscues by the Commodores, Ben, that the offense just can't pick up in the back half of this ball game.
Before worrying about a spot in the standings, the biggest thing is just making the playoffs right now. If you're Falmouth, this is the biggest team they're battling with to make those playoffs. So these games are extremely important. They're 2-2, and Cotuit, just one more matchup between them. It's the last game of the year. I just have a feeling there's a lot going to be riding on that game. It's still 10 games away, though.
That would be a good feeling. I'm with you on that one. We're just about 9 games away from that final meeting, and it feels like a lot could happen as we kind of break down the finale of this one. I think a guy we have to start with for Cotuit is Tyler Albanese out of the bullpen. 4 scoreless innings, 6 strikeouts, and he was phenomenal to really shut the door against the Commodores.
He didn't really have any point where it's like, oh, is he going to regress this inning? No, he was outstanding all game long. And again, anytime you can come into a game and only use 2 pitchers, Albanese in relief, Buckler, I mean, that not only gets you the win, but can set you up for future games too with this off day tomorrow.
Bringing the 3rd member of our crew, Ryan Martin, who is down on the field. And Ryan, kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the miscues for the Commodores really just kind of added up in this one for the loss.
Yeah, Andrew, I think you go to the new players being involved, and you see the 3 errors that Falmouth commits early, and that was really just too much for the Commodores to come back from in this loss. Again, you match Cotuit's total with 6 hits overall, but this will go down as a loss for the Commodores, as you see. Kettleers move within 1 point for Falmouth there in the West Division standings. Guys, I'm looking forward if I'm the Commodores, and I think that's what Jared Salsamaki is telling his team right now. You got the off day, and then you are at Bourne at Doran Park, but that's going against a Braves team that does not have an off day tomorrow after July 9th. It was Bourne and Harwich that was rained out at Doran Park. They'll play tomorrow. Wonder if that helps Falmouth any time after getting the off day tomorrow.
Yeah, Ryan, definitely gives Falmouth an extra day to help out those arms. And I really think the biggest blow in this game comes down to Cade Bogenpol back in that 7th inning, that 2-run single. And after that point on, it was really all Cotuit to kind of settle things down with Tyler Albanese.
Yeah, it's tough when you look at the pitching matchup, right, Andrew? And for Cotuit to only use 2 pitchers in this game, and the efficiency was really working well for Cotuit. I think that was the nail in the coffin. You're exactly right. That 2-run double ended things. If this is a 4-2 game, all of a sudden you know that the walk-off run is at least coming to the plate in the 9th inning. Then you go down to a 4-run hole, and it was just too much for Falmouth to come back from a day where the bats were slow and runners were left on base.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time, Ryan, and your reports throughout tonight's ball game on some cool stuff. But one last point as we wrap up shop here on Closing the Door, Ben. After Cotuit wins this one 6-2, I feel like we're still kind of having that conversation of when one thing's working for this team, the other thing is not. We saw it last night, everything kind of going in harmony, but just one of those nights where things cannot work cohesively for this ball club.
When that happens, you can always take a positive, you can take a negative. Look, this pitching through the last 3 or 4 games of this season has gotten a lot better. That's one of the biggest things. The bullpen started to figure out a little bit. But the offense is not the same offense we saw in the heart of that, games 11 through 20 that really, got the Commodores to have the most all-stars on any team in the Cape. So, yeah, there's obviously a lot of frustration with those two things not going hand in hand. And, again, just got to use the off day for these next 10, last quarter of the season. And it can't get any more important than these last 10 games.
Still waiting for important guys in the lineup like Adrian Lopez and Mike Anu to get back to that all-star form as the Cats win this one 6-2 over the Commodores here from Gulf Fuller Field. Day off tomorrow for these Commodores. We will be back on the air on Thursday. A 6 o'clock start over at Doran Park with the Bourne Braves in another West Division matchup. That one starts at 6. We'll be on the air at 5:50. Make sure to join us on YouTube in Cape League TV. For our entire crew here at Gulf Fuller Field tonight, our producer Dan Papillo, our director Kyle Klima, third member of our crew Ryan Martin, and my partner Ben Haller. I'm Andrew Del Piana saying so long from Gulf Fuller Field. We'll talk to you then on Thursday night from